Back again with Organic Dope. Dan Littlefield, Rob Holloman.
Number one right here, baby.
How you guys doing?
5-2. Doing good.
He's number one.
How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing okay. Good job last time.
Thank you, buddy.
What'd you guys think of 145?
It was a good card.
Yeah,
it was a good fights all the way around. Lots of finishes and a lot of action. I enjoyed the card myself.
None of us thought Rashad could make it 5 rounds, it seemed.
No,
I didn't. Everyone said second, third round, but he made it all 5. Those trick elbows he was throwing were beautiful.
He was getting slammed, but obviously he wasn't. He could take a punch still.
Rashad had a good round and a half. Yeah.
He did, but those elbows he was throwing towards like the middle of the fight.
What was with the patty cake shit?
I don't know. That was stupid. I don't know why Rashad did that.
He kept thinking. He said he thought he could.
When he put his arms up like this and he put his arms up to him. Why did he do that? Because every time he did that, he got hit with an elbow.
It was like great for Jones.
Yeah,
Reese, he just kept in and slamming him.
Yeah, even his corner told him stop doing that.
It would have taken me once to get hit with that elbow. I don't think I would.
I've been done.
No more of that.
Those elbows were tricky.
I saw him once try to come in and.
You know what it reminded me of, and I hate to even mention this, but it reminded me of Bloodsport. Remember when Paco or whatever is like Jean-Claude Van Damme? He's like putting his arms up like this, and he got Jean-Claude Van Damme put his arm, and then they started like hitting each other. You know,
I do remember that.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. Jones is putting his arms like that, and Rashad's like, sure, and gets elbowed in the face.
Elbow me.
Took a lot of shots. He connected hard a couple times, though.
When we were watching the fights upstairs, our buddy was like, he's punching him. I'm like, no, he's elbowing him. He's like, no, he's punching him. I'm like, no, dude, he's elbowing him in the face. Watch. And then he's like, no, he is elbowing him. And then somebody else in the room was like, no, those are punches, dude. And then between rounds, they're throwing the punch, and they show from the up view, and you can see him throwing elbows, and the guy's like, oh, those are elbows. And I'm like, yeah, how do you stop those when you can't even tell on camera if it's a punch or an elbow?
Right, they're going that fast.
Well, it was super smart because he put his arms out, and, you know, Rashad put his arms out too, and he knew then that Rashad couldn't hit him back. So when he hit him with the elbow, he was already at length. So he couldn't get countered.
Once he landed those big elbows, the fight kind of settled into being a dominant fight for John Jones. Those elbows stunned him, I think, and really hurt him.
I think it proves one thing, though. Rashad's got to be number 2 at 205 for sure. I mean, who else can say they went 5 rounds with John Jones?
It's tough. He looked good.
I mean,
I like the fight. I mean, it was kind of boring. I can see where people would say that, but I thought it was interesting. It's going to be interesting for Dan Henderson. It makes me think.
Well,
he's got a better shot than I gave him before.
I don't think he has any chance of winning that fight. I love Dan Henderson, but I don't think he has any chance of getting close enough to land.
Nobody's knocked him out, obviously.
Yeah, no one's finished Dan Henderson by anything but submission.
But with John Jones, you say no one's done a lot of the stuff he's done so far.
Yeah, but Rashad went 5 rounds, wrestled with him. Jones couldn't take him down.
Did he really try hard to take him down, though?
He had a couple good shots.
Yeah, but he didn't really. I mean, did he?
If Jones wins against Henderson, it'll either be by submission or it'll be by decision.
I think it'll be by TKO.
I could see submission.
I could see a stoppage.
Nah,
I could see him getting him in down the ground and throwing some elbows on him and just pounding.
Everything Henderson throws is nasty. If he connects like Rashad connected, it's probably lights out.
Oh, it's over.
What's his reach though? I mean, now
I don't know.
We've seen as far as
he's got that stretch. You know, he can.
Still though,
he's good in the clinch too. If he can get in the clinch and throw like an uppercut like he did against Fedor,
how
it's
tall
over.
is Dan Henderson?
Probably 6 foot or something.
I thought he was shorter than that.
I don't know.
I think he's going to be.
He fought a lot of guys at heavyweight and Pride.
This might be the biggest reach advantage for John Jones. I think. I'm not sure if it completely, but I think John Henderson has some.
I think it's a tough fight.
The one thing is, Rampage never really hit Jones in the face, did he? I mean, nothing really solid.
Big.
Yeah, I mean, if he can go through the whole fight like he did against Rampage and not get hit solid, then he'll win. Yeah.
And they clinched up a lot.
Yeah.
Henderson will get him there. If he gets there, Henderson can hit him.
Yeah, if Henderson connects one good time on the chin, it's probably going to be out. It could be over, really.
They're saying September, I think.
I hope it's this year. Jones fights a lot.
When's the dethroning coming up? No longer in Brazil.
Not happening. Not happening.
Yeah.
July 7th.
Is it July 7th?
That's got to be kind of depressing for the UFC, really, to lose that fight in Brazil. That was going to be like 50,000 people.
80,000. I
think. I heard 80,000 actually.
And now it's going to be at like 25,000 or something.
Yeah.
Not even. I don't think.
It's going to be a lot. Where's it going to be at?
It's at MGM.
Yeah, it's in Las Vegas. Yeah, it's got to lose. They've got to be losing a lot of money by switching to Las Vegas.
You said July?
Yeah, it's probably all because of the UN.
We should try.
Yeah, I guess you can't bump.
I did actually. I tried to get tickets, and on
Sold
the
out.
second pre-sale, the cheap tickets were. I'm not paying $500 for 2 tickets.
You can't bump.
And the second level's not even much better than the first level. They're just in front of them in the nosebleeds. So yeah, even the second.
When I
pre-sale,
went, we
they
sat in
get
the first section up off the ground, and that was the best section. To
I
me.
tried. That's going to be a badass card too. There's a lot of well, Uriah Faber or Dominic Cruz is out.
Dominic Cruz is out. Yes.
Yeah, he's out for a long time.
But that didn't
What
hurt
he-
the
what he
UFC
hurt?
because they
What he
got 2
tear?
title
What he-
fights.
What did how
He
much?
tore his ACL.
ACL.
Yeah, he's gonna be out for 9 months plus. I mean,
They're going to do an interim belt
yep.
for Faber. So
Yeah,
I
it's
guess
gonna
it is
be-
going to be 2 title fights.
It's going to be
Who's he
UFC
gonna-
148 for the interim belt.
The
Is that same
one.
card?
Yep.
Who's Faber going to fight now though?
It's going to either be Renan Barao or Michael McDonald. I hope it's Barao.
Hopefully Barao.
What weight class is Melendez?
Melendez is 155.
I'm not
Okay.
sure if Michael McDonald won that fight.
Which one?
Didn't he fight?
He fought in this last one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Michael McDonald. He fought Torres.
Yep.
Well, how did that fight end? Via KO punches.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was a
I
finish.
didn't think he was going to win.
Okay.
Yeah, we
I was like,
both
wait a
picked
minute.
Miguel Torres. We were wrong.
Yeah, I was the one that picked him, and he knocked him out in
Yeah, he
318
beat
in
the
the first
shit out of him.
round. He
Yeah,
beat the hell out of him.
you definitely picked that one.
Michael McDonald. I like
That's
him
what
as
gave
much
you
as I
the
like
belt?
Rory McDonald.
Yeah, that was a strong pick.
We need to get
That
a
was a
belt
good
in
pick.
here. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll go over and steal Chael Sonnen's belt like a gangster. We'll just
Hey,
take
he's
the
got-
one he took from.
So you're telling me he's gonna have the belt though? Is what you're saying?
No, that cheap fake belt that he brought to the press conference. We'll go get that one.
Hey, they're not exactly cheap.
Rob knows. Would you pay for yours?
They're about $400.
Ooh, you got to bring it in next time so we can put it right up here on the screen, and so I can have it next time.
Yeah,
too.
you did
Bring
well.
it next time.
What
We
was
might
what
not
was
have
your
it.
record last time?
5-2.
5-2. Man, I feel bad.
I
3 and
beat
4.
you by 2. Yeah, 3-4, 4-3, and 5-2. It's 1.
3 and 4
I mean,
though. That's a
I mean,
losing
I'm-
record.
I'm telling you what though, 5-2 definitely sounds a lot better than 4-3 and 3-4.
We'll make it up this time with.
Yeah, if I was
picking all
real,
the fights.
if I was on TV, they'd replace me. They'd be like, get that guy out of here.
If I was in the majors, I'd be an all-star.
Right?
Some of those were. Everybody would have picked the way we did. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, let's do a rundown of those real quick. Actually, you guys ready to run them down?
Sure.
Let's see which ones. You want to run down all of them, or you just want to run down the ones?
Look,
we
Rory
picked?
McDonald's the shit.
Yeah.
I'll agree. Rory McDonald is.
Like I said before, he was the one that could beat St. Pierre. Did you hear what Dana White about that fight? He said
No.
when Rory McDonald said he didn't want to fight St. Pierre, he'd go up to middleweight before he fought him. 'Cause,
No,
they
I
train
didn't hear
together.
that.
Dana White says, we'll see if he still wants to fight St. Pierre after he sees his bank account.
Honestly, I think St. Pierre's going to lose to Condit, so I don't think it'll be an issue.
It's going to be...
And I think Rory McDonald can beat Condit.
Rory McDonald showed a lot in that fight. He got
And-
caught early, and then he kind of got caught and then came out
Still
and dominated it. Yeah, he got caught and it kind of pissed him off.
He didn't get caught hard enough to make a difference. I mean,
it wobbled him. In that first, when he first caught him, it staggered him. And then, I was like, no,
Rory
no.
McDonald's wrestling's monstrous.
Oh, and then he came right in and took
was
him
good.
straight down. He got caught and he went straight to the ground. He was like, okay, I'm not going to stand
those
with this guy.
elbows
And
he was
took him
throwing
down.
on him on the ground were
Were
vicious.
crazy elbows. Once he got him on
vicious.
the ground, I thought it was
Yeah,
going to be
he's
over in the first
explosive. You
round.
can tell he's strong for that weight, and he's young as shit.
I was surprised it made it to the second round
Yeah,
when he got him on the ground the first round.
The other dude didn't look bad.
No, he didn't.
he's a future champion. Rory McDonald's the future champion.
I agree.
And he'll hold
I
it.
completely agree.
He's going to hold it because of how young he is.
Chi Mills, though, I'll give it to him. Chi Mills, his striking looks supreme. He needs to obviously work on his ground game, but he looked tough in the striking.
Did you call Ben Rothwell? No, you called Ben and Shaw, but you said Rothwell had a chance.
Yeah, I
Fight.
picked Schaub, but I didn't think that Schaub could finish him. I said it would go to decision.
I said it could be possibly a fight. of the
Jesus
night.
Christ, with that knockout. He was reaching for God. Did you see him?
Yeah,
And
that
he
was
was
a
fucking him up, too. He
That
was
was
beating
bad.
the shit
He
out
was.
of him, just came in swinging. And
You
got
know,
caught with-
Rothwell-
Well, it didn't even look like a hard punch.
It was-
Rothwell looked really
It
good
was the
though. Like
same-
he had taken off a lot of weight. He had lost some weight. He
He
didn't
did.
come in as heavy.
Rothwell in his last fight, I give him credit. He looked a lot.
Obviously, he's
he's
got power. He didn't. Either that or Schaub got knocked loose before.
It's. I mean, Dos Santos, he caught Velasquez with the same kind of punch in the back of the head right there.
Yeah, but at least he threw it. This one was like a going back little half. I
Like-
think it was a left, but it was a. Didn't,
Yeah.
Didn't seem like much. Not enough
Rothwell's
to
got
knock
power
somebody
though.
out.
Rothwell's
Obviously.
strong.
Obviously.
Schaub, maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's just not, not ready. You know, I mean,
You can
his
be as
wins
good as
over.
you want. If you can't take a punch in the heavyweight division, you're fucked.
Well, he's been knocked out by what? Who? Roy Nelson, and now Ben Rothwell. Who else is he? He's been knocked out by?
Nogueira knocked him out.
Oh yeah, so that's 3 knockouts. So.
And this one wasn't that
Shaw.
bad. So.
I don't know who they're going to put him up against next. I mean,
Yeah, I like Shaw, but he's apparently his chin ain't so tough, or the back of his head ain't so tough.
he's very athletic, but
I would have
geez,
probably called that as the lock of the night
Really?
if we were picking that shit.
I would probably pick if I was going to call a lock of the night. It would have been Roy McDonald.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, no, a lock of the night would have been
You
the
got
John
me.
Jones, Rashad Evans for me.
Oh yeah, well that's true.
I
didn't
mean,
think,
if
I don't know why I
we
didn't think of
discount the main event fight, that's probably one of the
that. Yeah.
locks.
I was pulling for Rashad, but I didn't really believe he had much of a chance.
I don't like Rashad. Also, I was
I like
pulling for
Rashad,
more of
actually.
those elbows to the face when they were standing in
I'm
front of each
surprised
other.
it went all 5 rounds.
I was too.
Sponsored by Mountain Dew.
Sponsored by the Red Solo Cup.
Actually,
Provided by
Diet Mountain
High
Dew.
Dollar Entertainment.
Make a little
Thank you.
golden draft. So I think Michael McDonald looked good.
You think he's going to get the title shot,
No,
or you think it's Barao?
it should be bro. He hasn't even lost, has he?
I don't know his record, but I think he'll get the title shot. And Faber thinks that he should get the title shot too, which might have some
Faber thinks who should get it?
Barao.
Barao.
It might have
Is he
some
working
weight.
with him now? On the,
What's that?
is he working with the matchmaker now, Joe Silva?
Who, Faber?
Yeah, Uriah Faber.
I don't know, but I mean, I figured.
He wants it, so it's gonna go. I didn't know if he's got it like that.
I don't know. It seems like a lot of times Joe Silver will make a match that people ask for.
Yeah, they do what the fans want.
They want to keep the fans happy.
Right.
They keep me happy. All
In
the
fact,
time.
Dana
I love
White
the
said
UFC.
that Joe Silva likes it when fighters ask for other fighters, or they call out other fighters. And then,
Yeah, but that's not a fighter calling. That's a fighter calling out a fighter for another fighter, though.
Yeah, but it's an interim title. I mean,
Still, though, I mean, if you're gonna call,
has the interim title really ever meant anything other than when Brock Lesnar fought Frank Mir? I mean, that's like the only time I can remember it ever meaning anything.
It used to mean 5-round fights. That's what
Yeah.
I was happy about. But now that the main events
That's
are 5
always-
rounds anyway, it probably doesn't.
I mean, it
So
really.
now, correct me. They said last time that the one of the fights that was a main event only went 3 rounds. It was on like FX or something.
Yeah, I think it's only the numbered events.
But
I can
then,
tell
but
you-
then this last one
I can
that
tell
was
you
on
why I
TV this last Saturday, it went 5 rounds.
right.
The
But the time before it didn't
the
in Sweden,
Koscheck.
the reason why is they said that by law in Sweden you couldn't have 5-round fights.
I was
They were
wondering about that.
championship
Okay,
fights.
I was wondering.
I
about
saw that on
I just figured it was
Inside
a numbered
MMA.
event thing.
They explained it on Inside MMA.
Is that on Fuel?
No, that's
Looks
on
like
HDNet,
Okay,
which is nice because it's in HD. So
yeah, I love HD.
Fuel's not in HD, at least not for me. I like seeing all those fights in HD.
Only-
Fuel's kind of
How about that Eddie Yagin against Mark Hominick?
Yeah, I picked
didn't-
Hominick. Yeah,
I did too. Mark Hominick,
He's tough, but that
he's
Yagin looked
tough.
nasty, man.
He did. He's
He was
striking.
throwing some nasty kicks. He was sharp.
Yeah,
He
That
looked good
looked
way
tough.
all the way around. Like it was mainly. I mean, you can't really say all the way around because it was kind of a one-way fight. It was a standing fight. It didn't really go to the ground at all. It was a stand-up fight.
It was fucking fast.
yeah. I mean, that was another bad pick on my part.
What else do we have? Mark Bocek and Alessio. Did we pick that one or no?
We all
no.
picked Bocek.
Yeah,
Okay, we all picked Bocek.
he won. How did he win again?
Unanimous decision.
Yeah.
30, 27, 29, 28, 30,
Yeah, at least I got that
27.
one right. Started off the night good. I remember that because I remember saying,
Yeah,
"Oh,
we're gonna be
check,
right on.
I'm already 1-0." Nope,
No,
not for long.
Well, no, actually, at that point, you were 1-1 because you had picked Chad Grigg. We didn't pick this one yet. We didn't talk about
I
this
think
one.
Bocek
Travis
was the
Brown.
first a fight I actually saw though.
Okay, because you didn't. You didn't. Well, no, you saw the Travis Brown one, didn't you?
It was on the prelims.
On the prelims, you watched that one. You
I
said.
don't think I saw the prelims till later.
Okay, I thought you saw it. I'm sorry. I
I know I saw the fight, but I think I saw it after the actual main card.
see here and when it was over. Yeah, that's when I watched it too. And
Yeah,
Travis Brown.
fucked him up.
Yeah.
I did watch it.
Rob had.
Well, there was a
Griggs.
big. I mean, Griggs looked small, kind of next to Travis Brown.
Well, Travis Brown's
He's a big dude. He's
6'7", and not too many people look big standing next to a
Yeah.
6'7" guy. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I still like Chad Griggs, and
I do too.
I
I
just
don't
thought
dislike him.
all the guys from Strikeforce have been doing really well in the UFC.
We don't know about Alistair Overeem yet, though. We don't know how he's going to do in the UFC because he's.
Who did Travis Brown lose to? He lost to who was it? Czech Congo.
I don't know who
Was
he
it?
lost to.
I thought he beat him.
He beat Czech Congo.
I thought they were both undefeated. I thought Travis Brown and Griggs
I
were both undefeated.
thought that Travis Brown lost to somebody.
I'm not sure. I thought they were both undefeated going in that fight, and I think Travis Brown is still undefeated.
I
could be wrong.
I think he did lose to somebody.
I don't know.
Maybe it must have been Congo then.
But
Decision, I guess.
I don't know, but I figure if they lost to Congo, Griggs had a good shot. I'm not sure about that. I'd have to look it up to be sure, but I thought he lost to Congo. I thought he lost to somebody. I thought he wasn't undefeated at least.
So we're moving on from 145 that's now in the past. It was good fights overall, all the way around. I enjoyed the card.
Yeah, it was a good card.
As every card I enjoy. I enjoy them all.
I mean, I was kind of disappointed Rashad didn't win, but I mean, I kind of expected him to lose. So.
John Jones all the way.
So you're a John Jones fan?
I am a John Jones fan.
Really?
I mean, why not?
I just feel like he's not. I feel like he's fake. He's putting up a fake persona for the cameras.
He's
a good fighter.
Either
don't
which
get me
way,
wrong.
I mean, I love
Like
personas.
Dan Henderson
I love
said.
personas like Chael Sonnen. I love him the way he
Yeah.
just basses good old,
I feel,
Anderson Silva.
I feel like I'm always going to be rooting against John Jones, regardless of how good he is. I mean, I'm going to be rooting against him when Dan Henderson fights him. That's for sure. Of course, I'm a big Dan Henderson
People may
fan.
misinterpret the non-genuine things from John Jones because he's fucking young.
Yeah.
He don't know he's a star.
He's trying
he's
to
making a
be
millionaire
calm.
probably now or close to it, unless he blew that by buying that car. But he's close
What
to
did
it.
he
He's
buy?
got all
What kind
this
of car did
money.
he buy?
What, a Bentley or some shit?
Really?
I don't know.
Something 6 figures.
Yeah,
That's nice.
$250,000 car.
But I mean,
But
like you
he's
said,
only
young.
24. He doesn't know.
He's
he
trying to
just
be-
went from what? He's been training MMA for 4 years.
Yeah.
Now he's a star
He's
out of nowhere.
The champ.
He's a prodigy for sure.
Yeah, he's trying to be the cool, calm, collected, respectable guy, and
He's not being cocky.
Comes
He's
off
not being, he's just trying
You
to
know,
be genuinely.
It kind of sucks though. He's cleaned out the division so quickly. I mean, who are they going to put him up against if he beats Dan Henderson this year?
When
Who's
he
next?
beats Dan Henderson, I don't know who's going to fight.
I mean, he's going to fight who? I mean, they're going to move Vitor Belfort back up to 205 and have him lose? I mean, who? I mean, they're going to put Gustafsson in there? I mean, he's going to lose.
You going to start dropping some heavyweights to light heavyweight? I mean,
any chance. I like Cormier.
or maybe
I don't
maybe
know if
Cormier to drop and come over.
I don't know if
after he
Cormier
beats
can make
Barnett.
205.
or maybe when Frank Mir drops to Santos will drop to 205 and fight him.
Oh.
I'm getting a little crazy
Couldn't
now.
that happen? Huh? Couldn't that happen?
So-
right? Dos Santos could make 205. He only fights at 240
Did you see the
now?
press conference with Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen?
Yeah, I did.
In Brazil.
Yeah, that was kind of
The
crazy.
one where they rushed Chael Sonnen
Right.
out
Yeah.
real quickly and
Did they? All I know is that he came
Flip-
out talking just as much shit.
Oh,
Dead,
yeah.
dead right there to the.
Yeah, but Dana White literally said that he wanted to be in a different car than him.
He did. He rode in a different car. Dana
and-
White rode
Yeah,
in a
after
different
that,
car.
he goes,
Extra
I made all
security.
these jokes about the UFC being down there and us having to dig a tunnel to get Chael Sonnen out. He goes, I think that might be true now. He goes, all I know is this guy's crazy.
Yeah. He was
Oh
a
my
little
God.
more reserved when it came to the Brazilian fans and Brazil in general, but he was not reserved when he was talking about Anderson Silva
and Nogueira.
and Nigeria.
But I mean, he was about Brazilian. He said he was trying to bring. I thought I do love Brazil. I'm going to bring things that
Yeah, but he also said
you
that
know
they don't
that
have
help you out, like soap. Things you don't have, and it's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Like the comment he said that how obviously the toothbrush.
Yeah, he said
was
he wouldn't have
named
said
in
that
Brazil
stuff
because it would have been the teeth brush
if
instead.
he knew they didn't have computers, or something like
Right.
that.
He didn't know they had the internet and computers in Brazil yet.
Yeah,
I just
yeah, he might have got. I don't know if he got. Someone might have threw something at him at least.
How Nogueira was petting a bus when
Do you
he came
think
to
he's got a
America.
bunch of
tried to feed him a
excuses?
carrot.
for UFC 148, does he have excuses already made up? Some good
Excuses
Yeah,
for
some
why
good
he beat the
speech for-
shit out of Anderson
how-
Silva.
something to say why he's still champion the second time, because he's
Well-
not going to get choked out this time. He's going to get beat, just beat up. He's going to make sure he don't get choked out. He's going to beat him.
He's gonna swing that hammer even harder this time.
I think he gets KO'd in the first or second round.
He's going to get beat, not just KO'd. Unless he gets knocked out clean, I think it's more of a beating.
I feel it's clear.
He's going to
that-
hurt him.
I think it's
I
going to
gonna
I
try
feel
to
it's
hurt
clear that Anderson Silva does not want to fight him. That's why it took so long for this fight to come around. He said he's injured
the best
twice.
In the world.
But
he
doesn't
want
to
fight somebody.
But he said he's been injured twice to not fight him.
Said?
But then he's been caught on camera
Now he's a
training
liar.
twice.
He's injured. He's a liar.
But
I'm a Chael Sonnen fan. I want to see Chael win, but I just don't think he will.
I mean, how many times has it happened that Anderson Silva said he's been injured and he can't fight Chael Sonnen, but then he's been caught training with...
I think Chael said 5 times.
Twice.
He said 5 times.
I don't know.
Who
I've
knows
seen
what he
twice.
said.
I don't know, but I mean, I just don't think Chael is going to do as well as he did last time. I mean, I'd like him to, and I think it's better for the UFC if Chael wins, because then they'll have that third fight.
You guys both seen the fight, right?
Yeah.
I've seen it a bunch of times. So.
Yeah. I thought it was a great fight. I was on the edge of my seat.
He's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
He takes people down. He doesn't take anybody down that easy. Anderson Silva has got the best takedown defense.
He took Brian
in the
Stan
division.
down pretty damn easy.
It's Brian Stan, but he could barely get Bisping down. It was real hard, and when he did, Bisping got right back up. Anderson Silva's takedown defense is way better than Bisping's. When they were in that fight, all he did was barely put his hands on him, and Anderson was falling to his back, and that doesn't happen normally. What
Because
happens
he came
when
straight
Chael's
out
not?
and clipped him in the beginning, the first
He did come
10
right out and
seconds
hit
of the
him.
fight.
Yeah.
He
He
did hit
came
him
straight
with
out
him.
and punched
One
him
thing-
right in the mouth and dropped him
One
to
thing
his
I've
back.
seen a lot of people
And
mention is no
Anderson
one ever
Silva
comes
didn't want to
after
have it
Anderson
happen again.
Silva.
And he did. Anderson Silva didn't know
Except
what to think
for
of it. He
Chael Sonnen.
didn't like it. And that's why he's been, in my views, been not taking this fight for so long, because he's been pushing it off for as long as possible to not has to happen. Because he came straight out and punched him right in the mouth, and Anderson Silva didn't like it.
Well, everybody else, they let not Chael Sonnen, they let Anderson Silva feel him out, get in his groove, get his range, Chael Sonnen went right up to him, punched him in the face, went for a takedown. He didn't let anybody. There was no feeling out process, and that may have threw Anderson off. But
Anderson wanted to take that fight.
And
from
people
his
say
back.
that Chael never tried to advance position, but he usually doesn't. He usually stays in that guard position and pounds on people.
He's got some BJ Penn skin though.
He likes to stay
cut after like
He
300
was cut
punches.
up. He looked like he came out of a meat grinder.
I'm talking
He
about-
got hit 35 times.
I'm talking about Anderson Silva. After 300 punches, he wasn't cut.
That's
Yeah.
because they were fucking.
He's got some
bullshit
BJ
punches.
Penn skin. But
Nada.
let me ask you this. I mean, you think Chael's going to win. We both think Anderson's going to win. Who's the next contender? Because I already pretty much know who it is. Who you guys think is going to be the next opponent for either Chael or Anderson? Who's the next title match in 185? Because it's been in the news.
It should be Bisping.
It's not, and Bisping is pissed.
I hadn't seen the news in.
Okay, they said that Hector Lombard, the
Oh.
Bellator 185 champion,
Really?
he signed with the UFC now, and
know that.
he didn't lose the Bellator belt. He just vacated it. He's going to fight Brian Stan, and Dana White said if he beats Brian Stan, he gets the title shot. So, and Bisping's pissed.
So he has to
And
go
he's
through.
got
Should be Bisping.
he's got a reason.
He
to
should
be
have
pissed,
to go
really.
through Bisping then.
Yeah, it should be Bisping right up
He should
top.
fight Bisping then. If he's going to fight somebody, he should fight Bisping.
I
not
honestly
Brian
think
Stan.
Bisping should get the
I
next
mean-
fight. He should get the next title match. He's fought enough people. He's beaten enough people.
I don't
He's
know.
lost
I
to-
think
who's
give
he
him
lost
give
to?
him the fight
He's
against the
lost to
Bellator
Chael
champion, and
in
if
a
he
real
beats
close
him,
match.
Yeah, I mean, Anderson's going to beat him pretty easy, so he could take the fight a month after that, probably.
a month after that, he'll be retired by then.
Get the fuck out of here.
He'll be retired.
I mean, Bisping.
He's going to retire undefeated. That's what he's going to do.
Bisping lost a
He's
real
not
close
undefeated
match
right
to Chael Sonnen, and who
Undefeated
else
from
has he
the
lost
UFC?
to?
He gets undefeated.
Who else has Bisping lost to at 185 besides Chael Sonnen? Has he lost to
I
anybody?
don't
at
think. I
185?
don't know.
Dan Henderson.
No, that was
185?
It was 185.
Yeah, I guess it would have had to been.
okay. Yeah,
Or was that before Bisping moved down to 185?
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
that
He
wasn't.
moved down a long
Was that
time ago.
205?
He only fought
That was a while ago.
Rashad
That fight
and
was like
Tito.
3-4 years ago.
I don't know. That was at UFC 100.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Bisping was at 185.
Either way, he hasn't lost to very
Dan
many
Henderson
people.
fought Anderson Silva before that. That was at 185.
That's true. That's
Okay,
true.
You're right.
You're right. Either way, he hasn't lost very many people at 185. He deserves a title shot. And I'm not a fan of Bisping, but I appreciate what he did in that last fight against Chael Sonnen. I mean, I honestly thought maybe that Chael had lost that fight.
It was a
I mean,
close
I
fight.
was
It was close.
I was looking at it and I
It
was
was a real
like,
close
I could
fight.
see how they could give it 2 rounds to Bisping. So
It was a close fight. I think the whole matchup changed through Chael Sonnen off. He trained for a whole different type of fight than fighter than Bisping, and that's why you didn't see the best Chael Sonnen match.
But I think Bisping's got an honest grief. I mean, Hector Lombard gonna get the title match if he beats Brian Stann.
I mean, I know he's a Bellator champ and all, but it's Bellator still. I mean,
well, it means something.
I like Ben Askren. Oh, I know it means something, but does it mean title shot at 185? I mean, if it's especially if it's
for people, man.
Speaking of Bellator, you guys watch Fox UFC on Fox 3 last week?
Yes, I did.
Did you guys see
I saw the last
Eddie
half
Alvarez?
because I didn't know it started so early.
Yep. Eddie Alvarez sitting with Dana White ring.
He's going to be here soon.
Yeah. I think I might have mentioned, I might have predicted that if he wins his next match against Shinya Aoki, he might be heading to the UFC, which I'm pretty happy about. I want to see him fight the 155 guys. A lot of people have been throwing around that his first fight might be against Pettis. Since Pettis don't have
Pettis is getting screwed again.
Yeah.
Giving Diaz the
third
shot.
time. Third time's a charm.
Diaz looked good, though. Diaz looked good.
Yeah, he did.
He looked real good. He
finished Jim Miller.
First person to finish Jim Miller in Jim Miller's hometown, and looked good doing it, too. Taunted him, beat him up. Just beat him all the way around.
Yeah.
Just beat him up.
Second round, jeez.
Diaz is tough.
Domination.
Looks tough.
He's stepping out of his brother's shadows.
This is what I want to see. I want to see Frankie
Or
Edgar lose.
stepping through his brother's smoke cloud.
I want to see Frankie Edgar lose to Ben Henderson, and I want to see Ben Henderson fight Nate Diaz. That'd be an awesome fight. Because if I see Nate Diaz fight Frankie, I'm not sure that's going to be a great fight. I think Frankie is not going to do well against that reach.
No,
Nate's going to
I
have
don't think
huge
so either.
reach.
It's-
As good as Frankie's boxing is, Nate's going to have such a reach advantage, and he's going to be probably just as good or better at boxing.
I agree.
Ben Henderson, though?
I'd like to see that fight, Ben Henderson.
Ben Henderson and Nate Diaz would be an awesome
good
fight.
to watch. I agree. What do you think?
I think Frankie and Ben Henderson's going to be a good fight. So
I do too. I think Ben Henderson's going to
gets
win.
through
Though.
it.
You thought Frankie won, though, didn't you?
I think he did win 3 rounds of that fight.
I didn't see.
I mean,
that.
he took more damage for sure, and Henderson looked good. Don't get me wrong, but
Henderson. Everything he
I
did
think
was
Frankie
just.
outpointed him.
I don't know. I saw Ben Henderson land a lot.
I just
of
wouldn't want-
combinations.
There was a
wouldn't
lot
want
of
to-
close rounds, so I can,
Yeah.
it's one of those tough fights. I wish
It
they
was.
would have
It
given
was
it a
close.
draw. But
The striking was close, but the bigger the what do they call them? Strikes. What do they call them? Not the regular strikes. The significant strikes. If you look at the significant strikes, Ben Henderson landed a bunch more, but he still landed a bunch of technical shots too, and that's what I think gave Ben Henderson the edge in that fight.
Well, got it.
You know, I just, Frankie, you never know, he could win. He's kind of like the comeback guy. So, I mean, he could beat Ben Henderson in the rematch, but I just don't think that's a real good matchup for Frankie. Nate Diaz. I mean, that's like, it's not a whole
Ben
lot.
Henderson, if you're the champion, you find ways to win every beat.
But I
anyone.
mean, as far as reach goes, it's not a whole lot different than looking at Rashad versus John Jones. I mean, you're looking at Frankie versus Nate Diaz reach-wise. I mean, it's going to be a huge
size-wise,
reach.
it's still got to be pretty off.
Yeah.
Well, how tall is Frankie Edgar?
And you're not
5'6".
safe.
Yeah, and how tall is Diaz? 6'1"?
6 foot probably.
Yeah,
You're not-
that's a huge height advantage too.
You're not safe taking Diaz down either, because he'll submit you right off
Oh,
his
dude,
back.
he'll wrap those big legs around you from the bottom and just put you in a sleep in a triangle.
I don't know. I'd rather see Ben Henderson versus Nate, but
I would
you never
too.
know.
I think then Frankie goes.
I think you're
going
gonna
to
see that.
Probably
Yeah, that'd be
145
cool.
if he loses.
But
That'd be a good fight, but I think Aldo would win that fight.
if the rumors are true and Eddie Alvarez is at the UFC now, or soon to be, and he fights Pettis, I think that's an awesome first fight for him. I think it'll be a good fight.
I'll be glad to see him. Who's that leaving strike for us?
Gilbert Melendez.
That's it. We got to get him.
Speaking of Gilbert Melendez, just this week they said that BJ Penn was offered to fight Gilbert Melendez
that.
for the Strikeforce
But it was right after he
for the
retired.
Strike Force.
for the Strikeforce lightweight
Could
title.
you imagine seeing BJ Penn somewhere else than the UFC?
No, I can't.
That's
he
why
turned
they
it
didn't
down.
do it.
Why
turned
would he?
it down.
Why would he do that though? Why would
That's
he
why
go?
they didn't do it. Because he thought it was kind of like a downgrade. Like
Yeah, he turned it down.
they thought people
He
would
did turn
start
it down?
saying, yeah, he turned it
Okay.
down. Well, it was right after he retired too, though. Like right after the Diaz fight when he got off.
I
He
know
said he might
recently
come
he
back
just-
now.
He said it'd be
Really?
like,
I
oh,
thought recently he said he was happy with the way things were right now.
He said he might come back, but he said
That
it
was
would
on
be
Yahoo,
only
like-
at 170. He said he
BJ?
won't. Yeah, he said he won't come back at 155.
that sucks.
I didn't-
Because that's where he needs to be.
Well, I saw
Yeah.
just on the last few weeks on Yahoo him saying that he was happy the way things are right now. He's running his gym,
Yeah.
seeing his kids and hanging out, just happy the way he was, and doesn't see himself coming out of retirement. That's what I saw.
Just this week.
He didn't want people
that.
saying that, oh, you went for the Strikeforce title because you couldn't win the UFC title.
That's exactly what would be said.
I
now.
think that they were.
I mean, you're going to retire from the UFC and then go fight in Strikeforce.
That's why he didn't want it. You know?
I think they wanted to give Melendez a credible challenger after his upcoming fight, if he wins, of course. You know, not
Who's
saying
he fighting?
It's a rematch. He's fought the guy, I think, twice before. It might be the third time.
Did he win both fights? Or
I think he won and lost one or something.
I like Melendez. I want to see him get.
Man, I can't remember the guy's name. It's not that far off. They're gonna fight.
I'm looking forward to that. I want.
But I think it's a rubber match. I may not be completely 100% on that one, but I think it's a rubber match. But I think they were trying to set up a credible challenger after that fight if Gilbert Melendez wins, because there's not very many people left for him to fight.
Yeah, they've pretty much taken anyone from Strikeforce that's
right.
anyone and brought him over.
And I figured that they're like looking to, like, if BJ wins, okay, set up BJ coming back to 155 with the Strikeforce title, set up a title fight. Mm-hmm. Or if Gilbert wins, same thing, you know, because they're eventually going to bring him over. But
BJ,
it's all up to Showtime, is what I heard. Showtime basically has got him under, like, contract for a while. Is that what it is? That's what I understand.
But I don't know.
But Gilbert Melendez is good. I mean, he trains with Cesar Gracie.
I like Gilbert
you know, pretty much most of those guys that train with Cesar Gracie are good. Jake Shields is even good, even though he didn't come off looking that great.
I'm a Jake Shields fan, so I'm not going to say anything bad.
I'm not a fan of his striking, but
no, me either. He needs to work on.
He's pretty awesome on the ground.
Oh, all right, it's test drive.
What is that?
Some fucking ad.
Test driving a car real quick. Now I kind of got sidetracked. We were talking. Oh yeah, Melendez and stuff.
Yeah, but BJ Penn said that.
I personally
170.
I don't see him coming back.
I think he will come back.
I don't, because he's never going to commit himself to training, so he's never going to win.
Well, that's why he wants to fight at 170. Obviously, he doesn't want to cut weight.
But still, not cutting weight. What's that going to do you? You're going to come in. You got to train if you want. If you're going to come.
John Fitch needs an opponent, right?
8 years ago, he could get away with not training and just whipping people's ass. But now, there's too many good fighters. Too many guys are well conditioned. Too many guys are full time fighters. And if you don't put in that effort that they're putting in, no matter how far talented you are, the prodigy that you are, if you don't put in the time in the gym, you're not going to win in the UFC today.
But they wanted to make that rematch between him and Fitch before. They could still make it.
They could.
That was a draw. I'm sure they both like that fight again, especially since Fitch just got knocked out.
But I have a question. Since BJ Penn's retired, how hard do you think he's worked out since he's retired?
Not hard.
Exactly.
That's why he wants to fight at 170.
It's going to take him a while.
He should be fighting at 155.
How hard do you think he ever worked out?
He went through a stretch
when he fought Kenny Florian and he fought Sean Shirk.
When the cameras were on him.
Joe Stevenson, he was working hard, I think.
What was the fight? Who did he fight? GSP when he was at when they had the whole like camera crew on him, following him through his weight thing. Yeah. And that's probably the last time he's trained hard, in my opinion.
I don't think so. He looked really good against Kenny Florian.
Yeah,
he went 4 solid rounds. He went 5 rounds with Diego Sanchez, and what did he kick him in the head in the 5th round and cut his head open or something? That was 5th round, wasn't it?
4th, I think.
It was one of. He lasted a while, and he had gas. You can't really say he looked bad against Frankie Edgar in the first fight.
He just had the stupid game plan, and then the second time he still didn't fix it.
Yeah, the second fight was more dominant for Frankie.
The one time he did take him down, he just whooped him on the ground, controlled him like easily. Why would you not have done that from the beginning? You knew that going into it. I think it was.
But he did look tired in the 4th and 5th round in the second Frankie Edgar fight.
I think he just wanted to say he could outbox him.
Of course, he was
pissed
tired.
that the little guy was outboxing him.
Yeah.
But here nor there.
Yeah.
You want to get into these rundowns?
Sure.
Yes, we will.
UFC on FX3, the Johnson McCall. Is that what we're going to do first?
No, we'll do the Fuel TV.
Fuel TV, that's right. I had them in the wrong order.
So, UFC on Fuel TV 3, which is this coming Tuesday.
Yes. A Tuesday. What's up with that?
That's kind of weird.
I mean,
they did that before on a Tuesday.
Did
they? Yeah,
I thought it was always like Thursdays at least.
I've seen some Tuesday fights.
I looked at getting tickets to this one too because it was in Virginia.
That's a
jack everything up over there.
Problem
That's
is,
pretty long drive, honestly.
I'm sure they're
unless
gonna
you plan on flying.
and I'm sure they're going to be fun fights, but I don't know if I'd
Fucking
want
airport.
to drive all the way or fly there to see these fights. Like we were saying earlier, none of these fights really. I like Donald Cerrone, but I mean, he's not even the headliner, and
It is free fights, though. I mean, you can't really complain about free fights.
I'm sure they're
Even
going
though
to be good
a lot
fights.
of people don't have fuel, I guess.
A lot of the more the cards that aren't known as good are the better fights.
I would say they usually turn out to be great fights.
You don't think they are?
I like the main event. I like the main event.
I do too.
I like the Korean Zombie. He's awesome.
I like him as well. I think it's all three.
Even when he loses, he's awesome. You know, he's cool. I like him.
Which
And
I
then-
think he's going to do.
Really?
I
Wow.
think so.
Not me. I'm
You got
picking.
Poirier.
I'm not picking
Poirier.
against the Korean Zombie.
I won't either.
Not gonna do it.
Oh man, and Poirier's tough and sharp.
Who'd Poirier fight in his last fight? Remember?
Nobody big. I think it was one of his
Well,
first UFC fight anyway.
I don't
But
think
I mean,
you're-
he's
he's gonna have to win by decision
We
or
also said that about-
submission because he ain't gonna knock him out. He ain't gonna get a TKO.
Kind of also that about Chi Mills the last time, and he looked good until he got beat up last time. The same thing about Yagin. No one knew who really was, and he looked good. So
Poirier's tough. I got Poirier.
I'm taking the Korean Zombie.
I got the Korean
Chen
Zombie.
Sung Young. I think I'm saying that right.
I'm just saying the Korean Zombie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with that because Chan Sung Young's not.
It might be Chen Sung
Right.
Jung. You know,
But he
Probably.
knocked the fuck out of Hominick in what, 12 seconds or
Yeah.
something?
It was a clip too. It was a hard shot.
he's good on the ground too, though. You know,
He's had some great fights in general. He's had some good fights.
He's gonna
Other
get
than
beat up.
one.
I think
We'll
he wins.
Well, I probably won't see because I don't have Fuel TV, and
I'm gonna say he wins by decision.
Probably decision too. Well, Poirier, of course.
I don't have a pick.
Could submit him.
I don't have a pick on how it's gonna.
I
finish,
don't think
so
he's gonna
know.
get submitted or knocked out. Or
Is that going to
TKO.
be a 5-round fight?
It should be. Where's it at? Virginia? Yeah, it should be.
I would say no decision then. I'm going to have to go with.
Those guys can go forever. I mean,
I know the Korean Zombie can. I'm not too sure about the other guy. I just don't know enough about him to say.
yeah.
I don't really know Jorge Lopez.
I don't either, but I'm not a fan of
You know what?
Mir Sadala.
Now
I'm
that
gonna
you
say
mentioned that
I'll
it's a
pick him.
5-round fight, I'm gonna go ahead and say the Korean Zombie wins by submission. Then.
Submission.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. He says next question.
Alright. We'll see about that. I'm gonna take Amir Sadala.
I'm
Oh
gonna
my
take Jorge
God.
Lopez.
That Jorge Lopez is the favorite actually.
Yeah.
And,
I'm gonna take
he's
Jorge.
11-2. I know that much.
I'm gonna take Jorge Lopez because Amir Sadala, his record is not so hot in the UFC, and he might be one of the worst Ultimate Fighter winners, as well as who was it? Ed Herman we were mentioning last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be talking about him here.
I looked up this
No, it's
Jorge
David.
Lopez. Noticed that he TKO'd a guy by way of retirement.
Wow.
How does that happen?
I'm gonna be bringing up something kind of like that here later
How does
on.
that happen?
What the hell does that mean?
You got me.
That mean
but
he retired
it
after he got
said
TKO?
round 2, TKO round 2, 5 minutes. So dead at the end of the round.
So that means he didn't come after the bell. That means he didn't.
Normally it would say submission, knockout, TKO.
Maybe he
Says
retired after the
retirement.
round.
That means he didn't come out for round 3.
He was like, "No,
Yeah,
I'm
he
done."
threw
And
in
then-
the towel and said,
And
I
then he
quit.
retired.
I'm done.
I quit forever.
He's like,
So
"I'm
you
done."
got to watch out. I mean, he did beat somebody into retirement.
That's
basically.
pretty awesome.
I'm
Well,
gonna
that's
make you
why-
quit the sport.
That's why I'm picking him.
That's pretty awesome. I'm picking him as well.
The guy's name was David Marshall. I couldn't
And,
find out anything about him.
I'm picking
but
him, even though I don't know a lot about Jorge Lopez. I'm going to pick him by knockout because Amir Sadala gets knocked out. So
I don't like Mir Sadala. I'll
I think
agree.
he's a
knockout.
smart guy. I think he trains a lot and good. And
he's
Like,
he's got good technical striking, but he just can't take the best shots from people.
No, he's going down.
maybe he'll
His
go,
Muay Thai
maybe
is
he'll
good.
get knocked into retirement. You never know.
You never
Another
know.
retirement fight.
Well, I'm going to take him anyway.
I'm-
Cerrone and Stevens should be a fantastic fight.
I love
agree.
Cerrone.
Probably
I do.
fight
I
of the night.
like.
Love
I like
all
the
of his
Cowboy.
fights. He's
I do
an
too.
exciting fighter.
He's tough. He always fights. He doesn't.
Cerrone's the favorite.
Even though he got beat up by
Who did he lose
who
to?
did he lost to just
Nate
recently.
Diaz.
Nate Diaz. Yeah, he got beat pretty hardcore by Nate Diaz.
Yeah,
But
he got-
Diaz-
That was still an awesome fight to watch.
But
and he was looking strong before that, looking real good.
Yeah, he'd won like 5 fights in a row or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was tough.
Yeah.
But
And,
I mean, you run into Nate Diaz, and that's kind of what happens to a lot of people.
And Nate Diaz is going for the title. So, you know,
Right.
I mean, there you go.
That being said, I'm going to take Jeremy Stevens
I'm taking Cerrone.
as my underdog pick.
Cerrone by TKO.
TKO.
So these are all going on our official records. I'm fine with that.
I'm fine.
Let's keep them all.
All right.
What do you got?
I got Cerrone.
Nobody likes my picks.
It seems that way, huh?
That's 2 underdogs I'm taking too, though, for sure. So Stevens is a big
I like
underdog in
Jeremy
that fight,
Stevens,
but
but I
he's
just-
fucking tough. He's lost a bunch of fights, but to who? You know, some tough guys and shit. He
I'm not
fought,
sure who, but I know he's
Anthony
fought tough.
Pettis and Melvin Gillard to split decisions.
Melvin Gillard.
Yeah.
He's been a disappointment to the both of us.
He eats healthy.
It's
That's
always a
tough.
plus.
Yeah, he works real hard. He's
Bro, bringing up topics. You know what? Torres in the last card, it was the mullet. Remember, you brought up the mullet.
you
in our
did
last
say
podcast. It
Yeah.
would depend on the size of the mullet, and he came out without a mullet. And what
Yeah.
happened? Got his ass whipped.
Yeah, you should.
Just a little off topic.
It's the Samson effect. You know, when you have long hair and you have that kind of power, you don't get rid of it.
You don't fuck with it,
Right.
man. You don't screw with the power of the mullet, and he did it. And
what about
screwed
this?
himself.
What is this, Jeff?
Jeff Hoagland and Yves Yobin. I
Yves
think.
Wabin, I think.
Yobin? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's how it's said.
Hobween or
Labi-
something.
I've never
Yves
heard of either of the
Yobin.
two. I'm gonna be straight honest
I
with
think
you.
the one
So
guy's Canadian, maybe.
Yves
Bill
La-
Hobin, or fights out of Canada.
I've heard of them both, actually.
well,
I'm almost positive it's pronounced Yves Labine, or how you said it the first
Yobin.
time.
Yobin.
I can't say it. I'm not French.
Yobin.
You said it right the first time.
I'm
though.
going with Hoagland just because Jeff. I like
I'm
to say it
going
that
to.
way.
I looked the guy up. He's on a huge streak. Looks like a jiu-jitsu guy. Probably get a submission.
I'm
It
picking.
is his first fight in the UFC, though.
I'm picking Hoagland as well.
Somebody likes my picks finally, everybody.
No, I can't root for anybody named Fabio in this next
Fabio.
one. So, yeah, I'm just
Fabio
going with Igor.
Maldonado and Igor, was it Poryak?
I'm not going to
Or
pronounce
Porniak.
that.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds kind of tough.
He's
so
a
he's
Croatian, probably. I
Yeah.
think
I
he.
mean, you know you're
looks
tough
like
when you
it.
come from Croatia. I mean, you got to be tough.
I'm actually going to pick Fabio.
I'm taking
Maldonado.
Fabio too.
Well, no one likes my picks. Kiss my ass.
Fabio's
Yeah, I
good,
guess
man.
we should probably go with your picks since you know
Yeah,
you did so
He's
well.
the champion.
Yeah.
He is the
Too.
champion.
We should just wait for you to pick and then go with yours.
Tom
next
Lawler,
next
Jason
week will be the other
McDonald.
way around.
Yeah, we'll let you pick this
I'm
one
gonna go with
first.
Jason McDonald. I'm gonna go with Jason McDonald myself.
I am too, even though I have my
Who's the-
doubts sometimes.
Who's the
He's tough.
favor in that fight? Probably McDonald.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't. They probably don't even add odds on it.
What?
because-
Probably not.
Tom Lawler's.
Because they're on fuel.
What's his nickname? I got it in
Yeah, that's it.
on the tip of my tongue. Was it Dirty Tom Lawler or something like that?
Dirty Tom Lawler.
Is that what it is? Like something like that.
I would love that.
Filthy Tom Lawler.
I
something
might,
like that.
I might, if that's his nickname, I'm changing my pick.
Well, I'm picking Tom Lawler because I think his nickname's kind of funny. No, I'm not. That's not why I'm picking him, but I'm pretty sure his nickname's kind of funny, like Dirty Tom Lawler or something like that. Yeah, I'm picking him.
I'm as deep as a rain puddle. I'm shallow, so I'll switch my pick because of it.
You're gonna take Dirty Tom Lawler
If that's his nickname.
if his name's not Dirty Tom Lawler.
Filthy Tom Lawler.
Is it
Filthy
Filthy
Tom?
Tom Lawler?
Filthy.
There's no. I like dirty. I like to get a little.
His
dirty.
name's Filthy Tom Lawler for real.
Yes, it is.
I knew I was close. I'm still picking Filthy Tom Lawler.
I like a little dirt in my sandwich, and there ain't no dirt. So,
I got McDonald.
so we're gonna do the Facebook fights, or are we even gonna? Because I've never heard of any of these guys.
Cody McKenzie. Yeah, I've heard of
Yeah,
him.
he's that guillotine guy, isn't he, with the hair?
Yeah,
Alaska
the guy
guy.
that does the guillotine where he like turns his wrist up or some weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's how he's gonna
yeah.
win.
Yeah, if he wins.
Turn guillotine.
Yeah.
Turn wrist guillotine.
The rest of these guys: Jeff Curran,
You know him. Dos Anjos.
Rafael Dos Anjos. I've heard of him.
Oh, I've heard of him too.
I'm not
Francisco
picking- I'm
Rivera.
not picking none of those.
Yeah, I'm not picking any of these
I
either.
don't think nobody needs my advice on that one.
Dongy Yang. I've heard of him as well, but I don't know enough about these guys.
Well, after this card, you guys are going to know who
Excuse
Dustin
me for
Poirier
one
is.
moment.
Yeah, he's going to be the guy that lost to the Korean Zombie.
You think so?
Absolutely. How's he going to win that fight? You don't think he's
Poirier?
going to knock him out, do you?
5 rounds. It'd be TKO if it was a knockout.
Really? You think he's going to
submission,
TKO a
man.
guy that doesn't fall down?
No, I think he's going to submit him. Because
Well, he
of
falls
before
down
the
to his knees
TKO
and gets
gets
back up.
called, he's going to just choke him, probably.
You think he's going to choke him out?
Choke him or get his arm.
No. I think the opposite. I think he's going to submit Poirier. That's...
I don't know about that. Uh-oh.
What is that?
Breaking it down. Freaking ads. I need to turn these freaking things off.
Well, we won't be getting computer geniuses comments this time. Keyboard geniuses.
We'll just edit that stuff out.
Keyboard experts. I liked that comment.
Hey, I'll be called an expert any day.
Right. Take the expert.
Especially if we're talking UFC.
And he said we have no fighting experience, you know.
Yeah, but when do you need fighting experience to be a fan? I mean,
I've been in a couple fights, just don't have a professional record.
I do 0-0.
you have a professional record.
Oh.
I sure do have a professional record at 0-0.
That's a pretty good record.
It's fantabulous.
It's like almost a draw.
Hey, I went out on top. Not a loss.
No, but I mean, do you have to be a baseball player to like baseball? I mean,
I think so.
Do you really? Wow.
That's a standard, I think.
I guess that's why I'm not a big fan of baseball.
That guy was
All
obviously an idiot.
Let's
I
do
hope he watches this one too in comments too.
Everybody's got an opinion. That's fair. You know, he can have an opinion.
It can smell like my asshole too.
Well, you're really kind of bitter about that, huh?
Yeah,
you went 5-2. I'm the one that did bad. I should be bitter.
Well, that'll all change after this.
Yeah,
one.
after this one, yeah.
So with the UFC 146 rundown, Dos Santos and Mir, May 26th in Vegas.
I'm excited about this card. It's
It's a good card. It's a good card.
I was still a little upset with Alistair Overeem.
Yeah.
I'm upset about it, but at the same time, I kind of like it because it's kind of funny. Now you can really just point and laugh at the big goofy fool and say, "Yeah, horse meat my ass."
Yeah. What was his excuse? What did he say?
He said something.
He took an anti-inflammatory.
Oh yeah, that's bullshit.
Because the doctor didn't know, they had something.
Why did they say shit like that?
Just
They might actually get their sentence
because he
reduced
takes
if they
too
just
many
tell the-
steroids and he's retarded.
if they just tell the truth, they
I
might
tell
get
you
the
what, I
sentence
did
reduced.
some.
I think.
I've seen a lot of people put pictures on there about Overeem. Like definitely took steroids. Look at this and this, and I did a lot of research on his weights with the actual fights, and he never really quickly gained a shitload of weight. Nowhere crazy.
The weight was always.
I mean, you can see it in his face, maybe where it was HGH. Where his chin's bigger at times, but he fought 220, 230 up in that range, and maybe at a 240. Did fight at 250. Finally,
His brother's
at one
real
point.
big.
But after the fought at 245 or 250, he still fought at 225, and then came up and fought 250, 255, and 255. So it wasn't anything drastically crazy until maybe 2009 or 10, which is way later.
When he showed up ripped and...
He was always ripped.
But
So, I mean, it was on it, but, I mean, I don't think it was anything where he just did it and
Well, his
blew
brother's
up all
real
of a sudden.
big. His brother's a heavyweight. What's his name? Valentine Overeem or something like that?
Yeah, and he was still real young, back then he could have blew up. I mean, I'm sure it was something involved, too, but I don't think it's anything crazy.
I'll just go on record and say that even if he hadn't tested and he made the fight, I think he's getting knocked out. So
I do, too.
I think Dos Santos is beating him.
Just like Frank Mir.
Yeah, just like Frank Mir. Yeah.
Knocked the fuck out.
Well, the champion doesn't agree with that, but we'll see if I'm the champion next time, because I don't agree with it.
To be a champion, you have to defend that belt.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know how you're picking Frank Mir, honestly. You're going to have to explain that to me when we get to it.
Do we want to start there, or do we want to start at the bottom?
I say we start at the bottom.
I agree, too.
Mike we're going to do the whole card.
I'd like
right?
to do the whole
record.
card.
Yes, all on record.
Well,
Mike Brown.
Be nice.
Mike Brown and Daniel Pineda.
I got Mike Brown.
Picking Daniel Pineda.
I am taking Pineda, too.
He's got a 7-fight win streak. So
Me and Mike Brown have never been too impressed. He beat Uriah Faber, but he could be. So did Dennis Hallman beat Matt Hughes and kept beating him, too. So
Mike Brown's
how
been...
How good is Dennis Hallman?
He's good against Matt Hughes. And he's good at wearing Speedos.
Pink Speedos?
Yeah.
I don't like... I'm not a fan of Hallman. It is.
Mike Brown has been hot and cold ever since he lost to Jose Aldo. So I don't have a whole lot of confidence in Mike Brown. I like Mike Brown as a fighter, but I just don't have a lot of confidence in him.
He's probably getting submitted.
He's getting back on track. UFC 140.
It'd be good for him if he did, but I don't see it.
Kyle Kingsbury,
I have Kyle Kingsbury.
Picking Kyle.
Glover, Texeira. Is that how it is? Texeira?
Don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm picking Kyle.
Maybe.
I'm picking Kyle Kingsbury as well.
So am I. He looked good in his last
I'm
fight.
going to go with Glover.
All right.
Who's the favorite?
Already.
Couldn't tell you. I don't think they have odds on fights like that because nobody bets on them. Or at least I can't find
Makes sense. I think Dan Hardy gets back on track, finally.
Unfortunately, I'm going to disagree. I'm picking Dwayne Bang Ludwig.
Fastest knockout in
by
UFC
knockout.
history.
Yeah.
6 seconds. Dana White says it is UFC official. However, the commission won't
Yeah,
change it.
that's true.
Who did he knock out again?
I don't remember.
I forget who was that
I
fast.
think he's winning by knockout or TKO, unfortunately, for Dan Hardy, because I like Dan Hardy a lot, and I don't want to see him get cut. And if he loses again, what's
There's
that, like
no
5?
way they can keep him. I think he's already lost 4 in a row.
Right, I think there'll be 5 in a row if he
That's
loses
why I
his
think
next
he
fight.
wins. He's going to scrap it out no matter what.
Dwayne Bang Ludwig is no chump, though.
Is he a wrestler at all?
But neither is
Ludwig?
GSP, and he went 5
I don't
rounds with
think
GSP.
so. I think they're both strikers, mainly.
Yeah, I think Hardy. Dan Hardy is going to win that.
I got Hardy.
Hardy's
too.
a
He's-
great striker, but he just doesn't have the knockout power Ludwig has.
Ludwig's lost
And-
a lot of fights, man.
And
That's what I thought.
Hardy's shown that he can be knocked out. So
But Hardy can win. He has won in the past, and he's got to get back to it at some
think
point.
about who
he
he
can't
lost
be that
against
good.
in his last fight. He lost against Chris Lytle. Chris Lytle was never more than a mid-card guy. Great fights.
But he's always been
Loved
a tough
watching
guy
his
to fight,
fight.
though.
Yeah, I mean, he's a
It's
tough
always
guy
the
to
guy
fight,
that
but, I
you
mean,
always say, he could win.
great fights in the night all the time. But I mean, you know,
At the end of the day, he's just a firefighter.
yeah, he's a full-time firefighter. He never quit that job. Great fighter, loved watching his fights, but I mean, never more than mid-card. Dan Hardy got submitted.
I mean,
You know,
GSP lost
third
to
round.
Matt Serra.
That was luck.
I called that somehow.
That was pure luck.
I
was
called
luck.
that. I
Matt
called
Serra
that.
wasn't aiming for his chin?
I called that to piss off
That was
Shober,
luck.
and it happened. And Shober's like,
That's crazy.
Come
That
on.
was one of them fights, everybody in the UFC had to be like,
There-
what the fuck?
If they
just
fought
happened?
100 times, that would never happen again.
no, it wouldn't. I agree.
I like Matt Serra too, actually. So, I like watching.
I like Matt Serra as a person.
In fact,
I think it could
I like
happen
him as
at
a
least
person
one more time
and
out
a
of
trainer.
100.
out of 100,
100,
one more time.
If you give him
That's a lot
100
of
more,
fights.
In
if
fact-
you give him 99 more, maybe not 100 more, probably.
100 to get that last one.
In
Yeah.
fact, I liked the Matt Serra Chris Lytle fight a lot. Thought that was a great fight. That was fight of the night, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Matt Lytle is a
Back
good
on
fighter.
track. Paul Sass. Jacob
Don't know much
Volkman.
about Paul Sass.
Jacob Volkman is the guy with the arrow on his chest, correct?
Hey, I have to
I
say
don't think
this.
that is Jacob
That's
Folkman.
not Jacob.
Are you
Volkman.
I don't think so.
Jacob Volkman is the guy that
I
threatens
remember-
Obama all the time.
Yeah.
That's who Jacob Volkman is.
I-
think
you
he's
know,
gonna
I'm
lose.
g-
I was gonna say if he was the guy with the arrow in his chest, I'd have to support him.
Fuck, who is
'Cause
that?
I have
Who
to
am I-
That
say-
guy with the arrow's chest is pretty.
I once had
Interesting,
I
'cause he
once
does
had an
weird
arrow
shit.
on my
I can't remember his
chest.
name.
I did that once.
Did you? You have enough hair to put an arrow
Oh,
on
Are
your
you
dude.
chest?
fucking kidding me?
Holy shit! You're a
Oh,
gorilla.
Oh, dude, I'm a
Now
gorilla.
that's on the internet. What'd
no,
you
it's
do
not
that
on the
for?
internet. I didn't show
You
it
got
on
to
the
put that
internet.
on the internet.
I mean,
bro.
I will though. I'll
He's got
flash
more
on
than that
there.
on his back.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. So I'm a UFC fighter upstairs. We were trying
Look
to
at
get
his
the back
knuckles.
here. Oh,
Show
dude,
you something right there.
I got hairy hands.
Yeah, that's on the internet now. You're going to be known as the human gorilla now on the internet.
I know. I didn't show it. I didn't show my chest on there. I don't want to scare people or get tagged on the way home by Animal Control.
No,
So-
Volkman is the one that had the Secret Service at his house for
Yeah. Well.
Obamacare. He was
that's-
trashing Obamacare. Or
Yeah, I'm
something.
going to pick him because I want to see him do another victory speech, trash Obama, and see what
He's
happens.
probably not going to do that anymore.
I hope he
After
does.
The Secret Service.
Probably
It's
get-
interesting when stuff like that
Probably get
happens.
stun gunned right there.
Uh,
They'll probably have Secret Service by the cage just in case.
It makes it more interesting when he says stupid shit like that, you know?
May label him
Hey,
as a terrorist.
I love when
Yeah, I
people.
hope not. You don't want to see him go away, but
I
it
lo-
still is kind of funny that the Secret Service showed up at his house.
I love people who talk trash like Chael Sonnen.
Talking trash on the
Can he
president,
back it up, though? I think he's going to not be
Why
able
would you
to
do
take
that?
out Paul Sass. I'm going to go with Paul Sass.
I'm going to pick Volkman.
I don't know Sass from so we got a lot of different picks here, Bill.
Yeah,
So
a
this
lot
will have a
different than
clear
this
cut
one.
winner for the next
Yeah.
week for sure. There's not going to be these, we all have one
Just go
fighter.
ahead and take the belt home.
Yeah.
A lot different than last time, that's for sure.
CB Dalloway and Jason Miller.
Mayhem. He's gonna get back in shape in the UFC.
I hope so. He looked like fucking dirt
He's been
against
working
Michael
on it.
Bisping.
Yes,
He's
he
been
did.
working on his.
Except for the first
I
round.
had good expectations from him too.
He looked good in the
for
first
him.
round.
Yeah, he
When
looked.
got him on the ground.
He looked good
I don't
for
think he
4
looked
minutes.
good ever.
I mean, he had him on the ground the whole
He
first
did
round.
better than
I mean,
Chael
he
Sonnen
controlled
holding him on the ground.
I could tell he worked on his 1-2.
Yes.
He's been training his striking.
About that, that's about it.
He's been training his striking. I think he said he was training with
Didn't he have a fight
Freddie
outside
Roach.
the UFC?
Make-
since
am
then?
I have I got it right this
I
time,
think
guys?
he's
Freddie
just
Roach.
used to beating
Yes.
down
Is it
bullies.
right this time? It's not Eddie Roach, right?
That Eddie Roach, yes.
I like Miller, but
Did Miller have a fight outside
God,
the
he looked
UFC?
like shit.
Yeah, but CB
Anybody
Dalloway is
know?
kind of a.
Yeah, he fought.
I don't want to say he's a one-trick
did-
pony, but
did
he's just
Mayhem-
got the wrestling.
He fought Jake
Rob,
Shields. He fought
Did
Jake
Mayhem
Shields.
fight outside of the UFC since
He
he lost?
fought Jake
Oh,
Shields
not since he
and
lost.
he lost by decision.
But didn't he fight outside of UFC once?
Not
Who?
since he's just
Jason
been
Miller?
Made Jason Miller.
Yeah, he fought in Strikeforce.
but not after Bisping.
No, they haven't. He
I
hasn't
thought
had a
he
fight
had. I
since.
thought
then.
he had. Okay.
No,
I thought-
that's only been what was it earlier this year,
Yeah, but I thought he did.
or maybe it
I'm
was in the
surprised they
last
gave
year.
him another fight. I
Well,
would
Dana
have
White-
cut him.
Dana White said some nasty shit about
Yeah, I
him.
would have cut him.
He said
About
like
who?
about Mayhem, saying that the striking was like the worst he had ever seen or something.
It was.
There must have been another reason. It's probably TV ratings.
Here's the problem with this
I mean,
fight,
he-
though.
Because
I
if
mean-
I was Dana White, and I think we think on the same level a lot of the times, I would have cut him. So he has to bring in a lot of money because of the fact that he was on that bully beatdown.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
He was really popular on the Ultimate Fighter, and that was a really good Ultimate Fighter season. Him versus Bisping,
He's
they,
a good-
they were good plays off each other. They just weren't a good
Fuck,
fight.
He's a
like
good
shit,
speaker.
though.
He's a good speaker.
They
He's
weren't a good fight. The problem with him against CB Dalloway, though, is CB Dalloway is probably a better striker, and I hate to say that about CB Dalloway because I am not a fan of CB
I'm not
Dalloway.
either, but I bet against him all the time, and he fucking wins.
Does he? But he's a wrestler, so you think, okay, Mayhem's a jiu-jitsu guy, CB's a wrestler. If he takes him down, that means that Mayhem has to win off his back. Is he that good at jiu-jitsu that he wins off his back? I don't know. You know, I mean, is CB good enough at control to, just avoid submissions and control him? Or is it going to stand up and he beats him in stand-up? I don't know. I'm picking Mayhem because I'm a fan of Mayhem. I'm not
It's a real question.
not 100% sure that Mayhem's going to win. I actually kind of think that CB might win. I hope not, but I'm going to pick Mayhem because I'm a fan of Mayhem, and I'm not going to pick against him.
Is there possibly 3 fighters on this card that are fighting for their job? Dan Hardy, CB Dalloway, and Mayhem? Is this a possible, like, who's getting
CB
cut?
Dalloway probably won't get cut.
You don't think?
Nah,
I mean,
not
what has
even.
he done?
They like him.
Yeah, they like him.
They
What has,
obviously like
what has he
him.
done, though?
I'm not sure.
He's not gonna. He's not
Is
gonna.
it, is
get
it
cut.
one of those, like,
Maybe they
Vanderlei
think
Silva
he's going to be
things?
good, and they want to build him. Possibly, I don't know. They think they like him. He seems to do better than I give him credit for. I think he's going to get choked out, though. I think Miller somehow will come back.
I hope Miller
Look good.
chokes him out. That'd
Because
be
he
awesome.
is good. He just looked like dirt last time.
Yeah.
I just hope.
He's better than
I
that.
hope he really did improve his stand-up good enough to where he can stand with him. And CB
What do you
Dalloway's
think,
not
what do you
that
think happened
good.
to Miller in that
standing up.
fight with Bisping? What do you think caused him to look so terrible?
He
not
gassed at
that
the end of the
terrible.
He
first
gassed.
round.
Yeah, he
he
gassed
gassed
early.
at
He
4
was
minutes of the
flat.
first round.
How could he gas with him? All he
In
did was
the
hold him
box.
on the ground for the first round.
I think, honestly, the people
Did
are
you
just
see
a
he was
step
holding
up
his
than they
hands
used to
down in
be.
his waist
There
in the
was,
second
like-
round, the beginning of the second
Yeah,
round?
but in
He's
the
throwing
first round,
punches from his waist.
I
you
mean,
know?
correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't that first round, over half that round, spend with him holding
Yeah,
Bisping on the ground?
He had him locked up in a weird
In
mount.
a weird, like he was on his leg. He had his legs locked up,
Right.
up against the cage, but he couldn't like punch him.
It was
he
like
couldn't,
a
hit him.
sitting mount.
Yeah, it was like he was like sit up on him with his legs pinned underneath him.
I don't know what
and,
you
like,
call that, but
Thinking about that fight makes me want to pick Dalloway. He looks
I
so
know,
bad.
me too.
I'm not picking against
I
Miller.
feel the same way, but I don't want to go against him. And we're all picking Mayhem, right?
I'm picking Mayhem for sure. I'm not going against him. I'm a fan of Mayhem's. Even
in the spirit of Mayhem, why don't we all just stick with him since we all like him?
I'm going to have to switch it over to
I
Dalloway.
knew Bill was
Mayhem
going to
looked
do
like
that.
shit.
I knew he was going to do that, so I was hoping we could get him to stay.
I just hope
can't do it.
Mayhem. I
Because
hope
now I want to switch.
I hope Mayhem
Yeah.
improved his striking enough.
And you broke your pencil lead.
Yeah,
You're not
that's 'cause
happy
I'm
about
fucking
it.
pissed.
Because you're not happy about it because you're
No.
rooting for CB Dalloway.
No, I'm rooting for Miller. I just
Yeah.
don't think he's going to win.
I'm not picking
he,
against
He
Miller.
looked so bad, man.
I like Bully.
I honestly think he
I hate
was
to say it.
good.
I like Bully Beatdown. I do.
Yeah, I like the
I
show,
enjoy it.
but the people are on a different level now. And
I mean, it's kind of silly, but it's kind of enjoyable. I don't watch too much on
CB
MTV.
Dalloway's been in there doing it and been fighting on that level.
Diet
Gotta
Mountain
give it
Dew.
to him. Diet?
Diet
Not
Mountain Dew.
good for you, man. They
Diet
got,
Mountain Dew.
what's in that for the sweetener?
It's aspartame.
Yeah, that's horrible, man.
They don't make very many diet sodas with Splenda.
Yeah, aspartame is very bad for you.
How about you just do
It's a
this?
poison.
You should cut out soda in general, buddy.
I don't drink much soda, honestly.
That's good.
Drink
Soda's-
coffee. That's how I get my
Drink-
caffeine.
How about you drink water?
Edson Barboza,
Good for you.
Jamie Varner.
I saw Jamie Varner on Inside MMA this week. He looked awesome. He's been doing good outside the UFC. This is his first fight back to the UFC.
Which he was fighting in.
All over the place.
How was he?
MFC, I think. Isn't that
Wasn't Varner?
Varner
What weight is
Varner is now Ben Henderson's training partner.
Wasn't he
Varner-
WEC though?
He was big in WEC. Yes, he was.
He's been cut. He's been cut maybe twice from the UFC. This is
Well, I'm
fight
going
back,
with Edmund Barboza because he's looked good.
and I really want to go with Jamie Varner, but I just can't. I can't.
I won't go with Jamie Varner.
And
He's-
he looked
I
really
was
good.
I
on
was a fan of
Inside
him
MMA.
at WEC.
I like that he's
and
training with
he's
Ben
fallen
Henderson.
apart.
I mean, he's got to be better for training with Ben Henderson, right? I mean, Ben Henderson's awesome. I mean, he's got to be better, but I just can't pick against Edson Barboza. I got to pick Edson Barboza.
I'm going with Barboza too.
Me too.
But I hope Varner does good. I don't want to see him get cut again, because if he loses again, he'll probably get cut again. So
Let's hope.
Diego.
you hope he gets cut, huh? He looks good.
Diego, what is it? Brandao?
Yeah.
Darren
Okay.
Elkins?
Diego Brandao was a monster on the Ultimate Fighter.
When you pointed out, I remembered him. And I think he's going to win too and going to run his mouth some more.
Yeah, he's going to win by first round knockout is what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Going to clean this dude's clock.
I'm going to have to agree with you guys.
He's a monster.
This next fight, I'm conflicted on.
I'm
Now we're into the
conflicted as
main
well.
card.
Yes.
Mark Hunt and Stefan Struve.
Very conflicted here.
Yeah.
Dan Littlefield, a big Stefan Struve fan.
Are you?
I'm not. You know what? I'm confused.
You're
What
a
I got
Stefan
here-
Struve
no,
fan? Really?
Listen,
What?
It's like, I'm not going to vote for anybody that got beat by Stefan
and
Struve.
that was from an earlier fight. And I was like, you know what? Dave Herman lost to Stefan Struve, and I was like, if you lose to Stefan Struve, you're gay. That's what I thought. But then I started looking at Stefan Struve's record, and you look at who he's lost to. He's lost to Travis Brown, Roy Nelson, and Junior Dos Santos in the UFC. He's 7-3. He's beat Dave Herman, Pat Barry, Corky, and Moorcraft. So you look at the guys he's lost to. He's lost to all big name guys, and that's it.
But who did he beat?
Pat Barry. I mean,
Yeah.
Dave Herman, who's now fighting. Who's he fighting? Dave Herman's fighting Roy Nelson in this card as well, and Moorcraft is a good fighter. I'm familiar with Moorcraft.
I have problems with this matchup. I don't know why they put this matchup together. Why would they do this?
It's a weird matchup. Mark Hunt is short
I mean,
and stocky.
everybody's
and
rooting for Mark Hunt at this point, right? I mean, he's the
favorite.
He's got a lot of people behind him. People want to see him win, so you throw a guy
But he's
with a
38.
massive reach advantage who does flying triangles, and Hunt's weakness is submissions.
I think Stefan Struve wins by submission.
That's what I have.
Man,
I was
Looked
gonna
very
go-
good against Congo. His striking is on point. Struve's 6'11", though.
yeah. The problem is
He can't get knocked out. I mean, Roy Nelson knocked him the fuck out.
The problem is Hunt's going to have to get inside and hit some guy with a huge reach advantage that's probably going to be looking for a takedown or even a flying submission hold. And
Struve's getting better too, man.
That's what I'm saying. He seems like he's getting better. He seems like he's finally. He's young.
It's a
I know
bad
he is
matchup
Can you
for
young.
imagine
Hunt.
fighting a guy that was 6'11"?
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
That leverage.
I'm
Holy
5'4", so no.
So you guys are picking Struve, huh?
I'm taking Struve, and he's an
Me too.
underdog, so it's an upset pick.
I'm picking Hunt.
I want to pick
Alright.
Hunt. I want Hunt to win, but I think Stefan Struve
Picking
will
Hunt
win.
by knockout. In
Good
Struve by
bits,
submission.
very possible
in
scenario
the
as well.
in the first. I'm picking him in the first as well. Because if he wins, it'll be in the first. If he doesn't, then it'll be by submission somewhere else.
I could see this going to a second round and I think the first round is going to be Stefan Struve trying to stay away from the power of Mark Hunt and trying to feel him out, test him out, throw some strikes, and then I think in the second round he's going to get on the ground somewhere and submit him.
I'm going to be very
And-
disappointed if Stefan Struve does a flying triangle and wins by submission. I really am.
You can still say you called it.
I mean, if it's a flying,
I guess I could, but I don't want Hunt to get
It would-
sidetracked at this
it
point. You know,
not
awesome
at his
seeing him
age,
win.
he can't get sidetracked on his title shot run because he's already 36 or 38.
It's awesome to see him win. You know.
Mark Hunt, how old do you know how old he is? He's 36 or 38. One of
Yeah,
the
I mean,
two.
you guys heard me. I was kind of calling for him to get the shot
the
at
title
the
shot.
title.
So was I.
You know, I
So
mean,
was I.
Dana White says not going to happen. Right?
No.
I mean,
No.
damn it, Dana.
And they went to
damn
Frank
it.
Mir and said, because wasn't Frank Mir supposed to fight
Frank
Mark
Mir.
Hunt on this card?
They didn't
No.
want. They didn't
No.
want.
Velasquez.
This is
That's
why
right.
they didn't
I'm
do
sorry.
it. They didn't want Mark Hunt to be the champion. Now they know that Dos Santos is just going to knock Frank Mir out, so it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, I think they know that.
You guys are both wrong.
Shane Del Rosario and Stipe. What is it, Moikic? Probably saying that wrong.
I'm going with
Marcus.
Shane Del Rosario.
Man,
He is actually an underdog as well, I believe.
Del Rosario?
Yep.
I think he's going to win.
They're both undefeated.
yeah,
Yes, they're both undefeated.
Somebody's going home a loser.
they're both undefeated.
They're both huge, man. 6'4", 240, 250. They both got huge reaches. 80 inches. 179, 180.
Dang, I don't know. That's a tough one.
That Del Rossi, what is it? Is it
What's Boss
Rosio?
Rusin say?
Del
Somebody's
Rosario. He beat that LeVar Johnson, and the guy that just smashed Barry.
Just smashed Pat Barry.
He subbed him.
God,
So-
he smashed on
He only
Pat
had
Barry.
one fight go to the second round out of 11.
Pat
too.
Barry had a chance though. I mean, he
He did?
had the what was he going for, a Kimura
Yeah.
or was it
He had
Yeah, it was- I think it
an
was
Americana.
Americana? Yeah,
He's going for the Americana.
He
had
wanted to cut his hair.
what?
He wanted to cut his hair.
What?
Pat Barry said he won't cut his hair until he submits
So he
somebody.
submit someone.
Oh yeah, he did
That's
say
why
that
he was
crazy
going
shit,
for the-
didn't he? Oh, that's right. I
That's
forgot
why he's all
that.
gelled up.
But you know, Pat Barry took like 20-something punches in the face before he went down.
He did.
He
He,
didn't
stood
even-
in front of him. But
He
the
didn't even
thing
get
is,
knocked out.
He stood there and tried to like block this guy, and he wasn't even looking. He was like,
Was he
going like
trying to-
this. He was trying to like block, and he
Was
was
he
just
trying
getting,
to make the guy like punch himself out?
That's what I think he was trying to do. He was trying to think that LeVar Johnson was going to swing and pause for a moment. And he was going to try and
He was
drill
going to
him.
pull a Shane Carlin
But
versus Brock
what really
Lesnar.
happened was he stood there and
I
tried to
didn't know
block
what
him,
the fuck was going on.
and
That guy
LeVar
looked
Johnson
big.
just started throwing bombs and uppercuts.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
about the ones that was hitting
He
me.
stood him up like twice.
But
with
you know, he
uppercuts.
still didn't get knocked out. He just went down to his knees.
I think he was out. He fell down and he was just
No,
like
he
out.
wasn't out. He just
You
went
think he
down
was
to
out?
his knees.
I only saw the highlights.
Yeah,
I think he was out. He
Nah.
fell backwards against the cage. His head was to the
I
side.
don't think so.
And I think he was out.
I think some
Either
ref-
that or he was just so beat up that he just couldn't move his head.
I
'Cause
think
he
some
was-
referees would have let it keep going, and it was probably good. It was probably good to stop it there. I
think it
agree
was
with the
done.
stoppage.
I think it was done. 'Cause
but
he
I
had-
think some referees would have let it keep going.
he hit him with like 8 to 10 clear shots, clean
We
shots.
need to get back on UFC 146.
That's true. Shane
Big
Del.
10-2.
Man, that's a tough one. Who'd you pick?
Shane Del Rosario.
Who are you picking?
I'm gonna go the same.
I'm just gonna pick the opposite guy because you guys are picking that guy and they're
I'm
both
gonna go with the
undefeated.
favorite.
I'm gonna pick Stipe Miocic
All
There
righty.
you go.
just for the hell of it.
But I think he's getting choked out. For the record.
He might. I mean, they're both undefeated. It's a hard pick, honestly. I mean, how do you pick when they're both undefeated? You know.
I'm going with the other guy is a wrestler and a boxer. He only had one decision, all quick fights, and the one decision was the only guy I knew, which was Joey Beltran. I figured if he gets up into that level, it's going to be a tougher fight for him. If it goes longer, it might be bad news. The other guy's Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, Del Rosario.
Yeah, we'll see. One of them,
Choke him out.
like I said, like Boss Rutan said, somebody's O has to go. That's how
Someone's
he
O must go.
Yeah, that's what he always says when there's two undefeated guys going against each
Dave Herman and Roy Nelson. Big country.
other. How many losses has Roy Nelson got in a row right now?
I got him as 16-7.
Has he lost 2 in a row?
He has lost to Verdum. He beat Krokoff, lost to Mir, beat Schaub, beat Struve, lost to Orlowski, and
What was his last 2 fights again?
Verdum and
What was that
Krokoff?
last fight?
No. Who-
So he
yeah, Verdum. He lost to to Verdum.
He
It
lost
was a
to
fight of
Verdum.
the night decision.
And what happened with Krokop? He beat Krokop?
He beat Krokop by
So
TKO.
he's going like win, loss, win, loss.
Yes.
So he lost his last fight? I'm going to pick Roy Nelson then.
I'm going with
He says win, loss, win, loss.
I'm going with Roy Nelson. Dave Herman, and this is where
Dave Herman's 21-3. It's a pretty strong record.
It is.
Well, he's not going to knock out Roy Nelson.
He's a big puncher, though.
And Dave Herman.
Is he bringing a baseball bat? Because
He
that's
might need it, right?
He's not going to knock him
I
out.
really don't think that guy's getting knocked out, but
Dave Herman has beat Don Fry. It's my second Don Fry reference in the second show. And he has beat Don Fry.
Well, Don Fry, you guys said last time, is like he's got 100 and some fights.
100 wins.
100
wins, so he's got to have quite a few losses. So there's
Right.
probably quite a few people that beat Don Fry.
Dave Herman is a pot smoker.
Okay.
He
Wow.
had pot for marijuana
I like him.
at one point. Yeah, that's
So
what
he
I
may
like
not
him.
even fight.
But he's lost to Stefan Struve. But I'm conflicted on Stefan Struve. So I don't really know. But Roy Nelson can't be knocked out. So Dave Herman ain't going to knock him out. And Roy Nelson's just got power. And he sticks around. I mean, his last couple fights.
Roy Nelson's beard absorbs
I
all the
think
impacts.
Roy Nelson gets him in a crucifix.
Really?
Beats
and
his
just
face
pounds
in.
He
his
likes
head in.
that. He really enjoys that.
Hits him with little baby
I'd like to
punches
see
and gets
that.
him a call.
I'd like to see
I'm going to
that.
go with Roy Nelson.
Hits him with baby punches, or he's hitting him with good punches?
They'll be pussy punches. They'll just get him
40
to call it.
baby punches,
Yeah,
make
just-
him
they'll
stop
start
it.
counting.
Yeah.
Unless he says he's going to win a different way, whatever he says, I'm going to go with that. He seems to be pretty good at his own predictions. So Roy Nelson.
I don't think his beard will allow him to get knocked out. So
No, he's not going to get knocked out. Roy Nelson's going to win this
his
fight.
beard's made of steel. He keeps like some sort of metal underneath the hair.
It's going to be some kind of TKO or KO. One of the two. It's going to be blood.
Antonio Silva, Bigfoot.
Bigfoot's going to
Where's
get
Cain
stuffed out by
Velasquez?
Cain Velasquez.
Bigfoot's been
My
knocked
first
out
thought was Bigfoot,
twice,
man.
I think.
Honestly,
He's been knocked out by Cormier and Arlovsky. Is that right?
No, he beat Arlovsky in a decision. He's lost to Verdum by decision. He
Beat
beat
Fedor.
Mike Kyle. He beat Fedor by TKO, and he's lost by KO to Daniel Cormier.
I thought he lost by KO twice.
He.
I guess not then. Okay.
Not that I saw.
He's a big guy,
He's a big guy.
Kane trains with Cormier.
right? And he's probably a better version of Cormier,
That's what I
MMA wise.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not wrestling
I
wise.
think Cain
but
Velasquez
MMA.
is going to be.
He's going to be the better striker, and
Yeah.
I think that's what gives Velasquez this win.
Plus, Cain Velasquez. I mean, the fight that he's
I
coming.
really
off
wanted
the-
to see Kane versus Mir. I think that was a tougher fight for Kane, honestly.
I agree.
I think Kane
Instead,
wins.
Frank Mir gets to become champion.
I think Kane wins by
I think
TKO.
they should have kept Kane Mir and gave Bigfoot the championship.
Oh,
I don't know how they could justify that.
I
I'd
couldn't
have an
either.
easier time justifying Mark Hunt.
I would too. I would too, just because Antonio's got to do something.
I
here
think a lot of
first.
people are discounting Velasquez just because he got knocked out.
I'm not discounting him. I was gonna say. I was actually about to
And
bring
goddamn
that
the
up.
run he was on and how
I
good
was
he
gonna
looked
bring that
before
up. You know, you look at his run. He was on a streak, beating everybody up, and then he gets caught with one punch and gets to the ground. I mean, that's literally that fight was a few punches, and
Yeah, what, 1 minute? So
he's ready to roll. He's still ready to go. You know, he's just been constant training. You know, there was probably if he got a concussion, there may have been a 30-day medical suspension, but he's still been just training.
he's tough.
I mean,
think
he didn't have
Velasquez
any.
takes it.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't have a big layoff. He didn't have a big. I can't train because I'm healing. And
I think Velasquez by TKO. Probably second round.
By TKO.
I'm going
Punches.
KO. KO. Knockout of the night.
Really?
Yeah.
Knockout of the night.
You're gonna say knockout of the night with
Knockout of
Brandao
the
on the card?
Night.
Really?
I'll say if Roy Nelson gets knocked out, that'll be knockout of the night, regardless.
Oh yeah.
If he gets knocked out of the night,
Doesn't matter how it
that's
happens.
for sure. It's
So for the main event, Junior Dos Santos versus
Yeah.
Frank Mir.
yeah, I don't
I
really.
think Littlefield. I think you called
Frank
Mir
Mir.
getting the shot, right?
Frank Mir. I did. I said Frank Mir was going to get this title shot. I
The
felt
champ
like
it would be
that
really.
too.
It would be kind of cool for Frank Mir to win because he'd be like I think the first person to win the UFC heavyweight title 3 times. I think that's what they said.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
his. This would be. He's had 4 title fights. You look at his last fights. He's
He looks good.
He's won 4 of his last fights. He's lost to Shane Carwin by TKO. He submitted Congo. He knocked out Krokop. He decisioned Roy Nelson, and he submitted Minotauro Nogueira. Obviously, and by breaking his arm in 2 pieces because he didn't want to knock out. Not to mention, Frank Mir has 2, not just 1, but 2 submissions of the year in 2008 and in 2011.
By who?
Well, he tapped.
By who? I mean, who gave him the submission of the year?
UFC.
Oh, the UFC.
It's submission of the year. He for the leg lock on Lesnar in 2008, and then the broken arm on Minotauro Nogueira in 2011.
I kind of have a hard time believing that the leg lock on Lesnar was probably the submission of the year.
I think it's submission of the year because of the size
Frank
of the magnitude of the fight.
I called that leg lock, by the way.
You did call that leg lock.
I did. It was around Mardi Gras. I went on a Mardi Gras fight or right after?
It was right around there.
I am picking Dos Santos, and the reason
JDS
is
by knockout.
I'm picking Dos Santos by first or second round knockout, and the blueprint I think was set by Shane Carwin, who showed that Frank Mir cannot take huge power punches, and JDS beat the shit out of Shane Carwin.
Fucked him up.
Yeah, he outboxed him.
But Shane Carwin's has a back problem. That's his last fight. His last 2 fights were against.
And he
Did he have a back problem when he knocked the shit out of Frank Mir?
That's what I'm
Dropped him on
saying.
a fucking, gave him the stanky leg like Rashad.
He killed him. I mean, he looked like he was
He's
dead.
had the back problem for a while.
So he must have.
Shane Carwin made Frank Mir look like he killed Frank Mir.
I don't think Frank Mir has a fucking shot in hell to get JDS to the ground.
No.
And that's where he needs to get him.
JDS is the 2012 version of Chuck Liddell when he was in his prime. He has awesome takedown defense and counterpunching out of this world knockout power.
And he'll keep it standing. It's not like he's a slouch on the ground. He just doesn't go there. Who's been able to take him down?
I think Frank Mir's finally got his game all together.
I think
Frank
Carwin's
Mir's
by far
awesome
a better
fighter.
wrestler than Mir. And Carwin was nowhere near taking down Dos Santos through 3 rounds. Nowhere near on anything.
I mean, I don't think it's going to
nowhere.
end as fast as Cain Velasquez and JDS ended, because I think that was kind of luck to end.
Yeah,
in
he
6
got
seconds.
caught. I don't think, and Mir's going to be watching out not to get caught like that. But I just don't see how it goes to the ground. If it goes to the ground, it gets interesting.
I think even if it goes to the ground, I think JDS gets right back up.
It get interesting if it goes. I just really don't think it does. I don't think
I
Mir
don't
has
think
a
it's
chance in
gonna
hell to
matter.
get him down.
I don't think it's a matter of Mir's striking. To me, has looked impressive. I mean, the fight against Congo when he just whooped the shit out of Congo and then submitted him. I mean, he just whooped the shit out of him standing up, took him to the ground, and put him in a submission.
Tech
and tapped him
Congo
out.
is not JDS.
No, he's not. But he's that same size fighter, same size, same good striking ability. But Frank Mir's quick.
We're talking about a
Frank
guy that
Mir
trains with
bulked up,
Blackhouse, though.
but
I mean, that's a
Mir-
big difference.
Frank
And
Mir
he's training with
bulked
the
up.
best strikers in the world.
Frank Mir is bulked up and worked on his striking, and then he slimmed
He's a
down
Chael
a little
Sonnen
bit.
fan, though, so he doesn't really care about Black House all that much.
He's training with, Machida. He's training with Anderson Silva. He's awesome boxer already. Maybe one of the best boxers in MMA, if not the best.
And he's still training on the ground with Big Nog.
It's not going to the ground. He's going to get a knockout first, second round, and Frank Mir will probably never get another title shot, unfortunately. But
He's going to be defending this title.
no. The blueprint's already been set. It's not going to be too much different than the
Blueprints
Carwin.
from Blueprints.
And with Frank Mir's
Blueprints
loss will
build
come
buildings.
Daniel
This is the
Littlefield's
fight.
loss of the belt.
Blueprints build buildings. This is a fight.
I'm telling you, it's going to look a lot like the Carwin JD, or not the Carwin Mir fight. It's going to look a lot like that fight.
I don't think so.
Do you think that
Mir's
they
got it
give
together.
Velasquez the title shot after he beats Bigfoot and Dos Santos beats Mir?
Yeah, why not?
Do they give him the rematch?
Because Overeem's going to be out till freaking the end of the year at least.
Depends. If Mark Hunt beats Stephen
It was supposed to
Struve,
be the #1 contenders match, right?
What if Mark Hunt knocks out
No,
Stephen
The
Struve?
Mir and Velasquez was.
If Mark Hunt wins, if Cain Velasquez wins, he gets the title shot for sure.
I don't think he's going to get a title shot. I think if Mark Hunt wins, Cain Velasquez, Mark Hunt for the title.
I don't know if that's who knows. I mean, Mark Hunt touches Cain on the chin, he's going out too.
Mark Hunt's got power.
Yeah.
And then it'll be Mark Hunt and Frank Mir for the title.
Mark Hunt versus Frank Mir. What is that, Bizarro World? That's not gonna ever happen. Come on.
I mean,
You're
Frank-
not. Are
I mean,
you
Frank Mir-
throwing the?
I
Are
mean,
you
Frank
throwing the
Mir has a
title right now?
shot for a reason.
I mean, you're the champ. Are you throwing the title right now?
Did
Because it sounds like you're throwing the
Did
title.
Frank Mir get this title shot by pulling his name
Did
out
you
of
put
the
some
hat?
money
No.
on like
Frank
us?
Mir got this title shot because he's complete. He's well rounded. He's
a
come
good
together.
fighter.
He's a good fighter.
He got the title shot because they couldn't justify giving it to Cain Velasquez after a 60-second knockout.
They gave it to him because he's looked impressive. I mean, he snapped Nogueira's arm in two. Did you see? I mean, you saw. I showed you the X-ray,
but
so I know you've seen the broken bone. I mean,
He looked like mine from arm wrestling.
Yeah, he snapped that bone in half.
But he already beat him once. I mean, is it really that impressive? He's already broke other people's arms.
I mean, he's a bone breaker.
He's a big ass dude.
He's a
that
bone
knows
breaker.
Jiu-jitsu. He's not.
But the thing is,
he's
though, he's not just a
Stefan
big
Struve.
ass dude.
He's not going to do a flying
He's not
arm
just
bar.
a big ass dude, though. Now his striking is
now, if he does a flying arm bar against JDS,
I mean, are you telling me Chet Congo has no striking ability?
no, he does. He just doesn't have the chin to back it up.
But what did Frank Mir do to do him in a striking advantage? Beat the shit out of him. Beat the shit out of him, and then took him down. And
Frank Mir's a good striker,
exactly.
but he's not JDS.
I'm not saying
he's a
he
very
is.
technical
He doesn't
striker.
have to be JDS to win.
Look at the fight against.
He doesn't
Crow
have to be
Cop.
JDS to win.
Look at the fight against Crow Cop. Crow Cop's a technical striker, and look at him and.
But
Crow
who
Cop.
hasn't beat Crow Cop in the last 5 years? Who has Crow Cop beat in the last 5 years?
Mir won that fight. I'm not saying
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying he looked good, but he just doesn't have the power to back it up. I mean, and JDS does.
Who doesn't have the power? Frank Mir doesn't have power?
No, not enough to beat
Frank
JDS.
Mir is 245 pounds, and look at the size of him. You're telling me he doesn't have
He
power?
doesn't have the striking power to beat JDS.
I don't know about that.
I don't even
I'll
think Frank
disagree
Mir
with that one.
could beat Cain Velasquez.
I don't
I thought
agree
that would
with
have been a
either.
good fight.
Yeah,
You thought Frank Mir was going to beat Cain Velasquez
Mhm.
too?
I
I
did.
think the
I
boxing
think
would
Frank
have been
Mir's come a
close.
long way.
Velasquez should have won.
And I'm one who I've not been.
You realize
a Frank
Brock
Mir
Lesnar
fan.
beat Frank Mir, right?
I do.
Like really bad.
I do,
Okay.
but it was because those two got.
The way you're
those
putting it,
two-
Brock Lesnar should still be the champion.
But those two got into a war. Those two got into like a one-sided war. Like there was a stretch where all those two did was get in fights where they got on the ground and see who could
He
pound
put him
each
in a
other
headlock
out.
and just pounded his face in the hamburger.
I mean, it wasn't really a headlock. It was more like I pinned your arm behind your head and punched your head face in. Because that's what he did. He reached around with his left hand and grabbed Frank Mir's left arm and held it down and then pinned his right arm down and then punched him in the face because he laid on his arm. And it's a totally
Brock
different type
Lesnar's-
of fight.
What was Brock Lesnar's record in UFC?
What,
Wasn't very good.
5-1, maybe.
No, he lost.
No, he lost twice.
He lost to
At the end.
Mir. He lost to
Mir,
Overeem
Overeem,
and Velasquez. So
and
he lost
Velasquez. 3. He's
He
beat
beat-
Heath Herring,
He beat Herring. Yeah, Herring, Mir,
Mir,
Carwin. So was he
Carwin.
3-3? Oh, he beat Randy Couture.
and he beat Randy Couture.
So 4-3.
4-3.
That's not very good. And he,
I mean,
and,
4-3,
and he just
4-3 against
he
those.
devastated
But
Mir.
look at the guys he fought though. I mean, he never came in and had any. If you look at Brock Lesnar, he goes Heath Herring, boom, straight into Randy Couture, and then Frank Mir, and then Frank Mir. I mean, then
Honestly,
Velasquez, and he lost his last 2 fights, so he went 4-1, and then
when
lost
they were saying Brock
2
was
fights.
going to fight JDS, I was going to pick JDS against Brock too. So JDS is
That
the
would have
man
been
right now.
classic wrestler versus boxer.
He's just got two
They're
good.
different. They're different. You're talking about different style fights.
If Shane Carwin couldn't take him down,
Frank Mir, when he got into this whole Brock Lesnar focus, he bulked up to 265
so
pounds.
you think
and
Frank,
now he's down
Frank
to
Mir is gonna
245.
beat him on the feet?
He can
By,
fight him.
by what method?
By what do you mean? What method? By striking.
But
I mean,
TKO, KO, or decision?
I think he's gonna catch him, knock him to the ground, get on top of him, and submit him.
Really?
It's going to be a submission fight, but he's not going to. I'm not going to say he's going to knock him out, but he's going to clip him. They're going to do good. He's going to catch him, get him to the ground, or catch him in some kind of a counter a strike, and take him to the ground. Frank Mir can get guys to the ground. Frank Mir is good at getting anyone to the ground. He got.
The only way he's getting this guy to the ground is if he pulls guard.
I guess.
And JDS is going
how many
back
times have people shot on JDS? Really, I mean, going after a
Shane
takedown.
Carwin.
Shitload.
Shane Carwin couldn't get him down. He's a wasn't he All American?
Nelson tried to get him down a couple times.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's
not
Nelson. I mean, this is different. I mean, he's different. Frank
Shane
Mir's
Carwin
different.
was a great wrestler.
Yeah, but Frank Mir's
Nelson beat Frank Mir in a grappling match.
Yeah, it was just a
I mean-
jiu-jitsu match though.
Just saying. Just throwing that out there.
Once we threw it in MMA, Frank Mir won. So that was a pretty good fight, though. I
got
honestly,
Frank Mir. I mean,
I honestly feel like this is a mismatch. I can't believe you're picking Frank Mir. Even though you told me you were going to pick Frank Mir. I can't believe you're picking him.
I mean, he's looked good. I mean, what do you mean? I don't see how you can see it's that far off. He's looked great. His
I just
striking
feel like
is
it's a complete
improved.
mismatch.
He's superior in a submission game, and
Yeah, but it's not going to go there.
you don't know that. No one said it was going to go to the ground with Chael Sonnen either in Anderson Silva.
Chael Sonnen said it.
Yeah, he did, but no one else did. Did anybody believe him?
I kind of believed him.
I don't know.
I should have known when he
night
came
I
out
was-
in his gi.
I didn't
You know,
figure he
Anderson walked out in his gi, wasn't hopping around. Promised Nogueira he would
I
submit
just
him.
didn't figure he'd hold him down. I figured it'd be kind of like when he
mean-
fought Dan Henderson. He'd get right back up. You know?
I just hope you realize that you're watching the best in the world after Chael Sonnen gets beat this shit.
When it
Gets the
happens,
shit beat out of him. I guess
when it
that's what
happens,
you're
we'll
trying
see.
to say. July 7th.
Sponsored by Diet Mountain Dew.
Tune in.
Sponsored by Frank Mir is going to be the champion.
What do you want to do? UFC on FX3?
Sure.
It's Johnson versus McCall on June 8th after the pay-per-view.
That's awesome. I can't wait for this fight.
don't
I
know
love
a
the
lot of
first
these
fight.
guys.
Flyweight.
Was very disappointed with bullshit from the judges that caused that not to go into the sudden death round. And I feel it the way the third round ended, that McCall would have won that sudden death round. He was dominating that third round. Where are we going to start on this?
We can start right there, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'm picking
think,
McCall. He's going to be the first UFC. I don't want to go that far yet. He's gonna be in the UFC flyweight finals against Benavidez.
Benavidez, who's already in it.
Does anybody know? Yeah, he's already in it. Does anybody know if this is going to have a sudden death fourth round?
I don't know. Why didn't it happen last time?
Because the judges scored the cards wrong, and it was actually supposed to go to a sudden death round.
No, I would think then if it's supposed to be, it will, because they'll make sure they don't happen again. I would think.
I hope so.
I'm going to go with Mighty Mouse.
Really, I like Demetrius Johnson.
I
like
can't
Demetrius
remember the
Johnson.
fight too well. I only saw it the one time live, and
It was a great fight.
I think he won that fight,
Really?
if I remember
See,
right.
I felt like Ian McCall won the first and third round, and I thought Demetrius Johnson won the second. That's the way I felt about it.
I don't remember the fight.
It is such an awesome fight. This is the first time I really saw flyweights. I never really watched them on
McCall
HDNet
looked
or
way
anything.
better on the ground, if I remember right.
Yeah. He should have just kept punching him when he had him. I think he had the mount. He should have just kept punching him. Might have been able to stop it.
Who you
Or
got
maybe it was
that
the
one?
back mount.
Danny Boy?
Demetrius Johnson.
I'm going to put Johnson against Benavidez, huh? Be interesting.
I think so. Does it matter how his mustache is, Ian McCall?
Oh, he has to have that mustache. He can't win without that. That's
So if
the,
he comes
If
out
he
without
loses
the
that, it'll
mustache,
be
That's
like
like-
the mullet, right?
I'll
right.
say
That's
it's
like
like
the
Miguel
Three
Torres.
Musketeers mustache.
So
you
if he
know?
comes out without the
Is
mustache,
that what you're
are you
shoot-
switching?
No, I'm not.
Rob, is that the kind of mustache you're shooting for?
No, I wish I could do that. Well, I guess I could if I,
I
got
mean,
some
the
grease
white,
or
I mean, look at
something.
the. As
You'd
thick
have to
as
grow it
that
longer.
is.
You'd have to get the
I need a
ends
cowboy
longer.
hat. You know, I
If you
could,
buy
like,
a
be-
white van, though, I'm getting scared.
I could like be in the movie Tombstone, probably. You know.
Charlie Brenneman, Eric Silva.
Charlie Brenneman, he was on the show, Ultimate
He
Fighter
was.
show.
Yep.
He was the guy
15-3.
who. Wasn't he the guy who, his friend, that one guy who was just in the UFC.
His friend was in the UFC.
No. His
Is that
friend
what
was
you
on the
said?
show.
Oh, that
I mean,
guy.
Well, his friend was on the
He
show.
got in the UFC for his friends being in the UFC.
No, his friend was on the show with him. They were both good friends.
Okay.
And that one guy said something about this guy, and he lost, and then he was going to avenge him, and he ended up losing. What's his damn name? I can't think of it now. He was just on one of the last couple of cards
I
we just
don't watch
watched.
the show too much. I miss it all the time.
The new one I miscatch. Sometimes I'll see they show the episodes on UFC's website, and you can watch last week's episodes.
I'm going to take Eric Silva. That guy's a fucking monster.
I am too, because I wasn't impressed with Charlie Brenneman.
You know, I don't even know Eric Silva, so I'm going to pick Charlie Brenneman. Who did Eric Silva fight last?
We'll find out.
We're talking about these fights. We didn't guarantee we knew a whole lot about these fights.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I should know Eric Silva, but I don't. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Charlie Brennan because
Just so you know.
I know who he is.
Just so you know, though, Frank Mir's going to win.
Now, Frank Mir hasn't got a chance in hell.
Oh, he does.
What's the odds on Frank Mir? Because if he's so confident, he needs to put some money on Frank Mir so he can win some
You
money.
could win $400 if you bet 100.
There you go. Bet
If I had-
$100.
If I had $100 to spare right now, I would.
Eric Silva lost to Carlo Prater.
That was his last fight.
That was the one where he lost because he punched him in the back of the head, but it really
Oh.
it was one punch out of a bunch of them.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah, he got bullshitted on that.
I'm still gonna pick
Is
Charlie
this
Brennan.
was that his first UFC fight? Does he only have one?
No, he beat Luis Ramos before that. UFC 134.
How did he win? I'm sorry.
TKO.
What round?
Punches. Round 1, 40 seconds into it.
Yeah, I'm
He's
sticking
a
with Eric
fucking
Silva.
monster, man.
Yeah. How big is he?
5'11",
What's the weight size class?
170.
170? Okay, yeah, he's going to rock him.
I'm gonna stick with the guy I know. I don't want to pick some guy I've never seen fight.
Josh Neer. I'm going with Josh Neer.
Josh near Mike Pyle is
Probably
probably
the best
fight of the
fight on
night,
the
if
card.
not the fight before that, because
Could be the
they're
best fight
fucking
on the
tough,
card.
man. Both of them are just real tough all-around guys.
I like Mike Pyle.
Pyle's the
Josh
favorite.
Neer, he was getting beat in his last fight, and he came back and would win by submission.
Yeah, I like Mike Pyle, and I've liked the fights he's been in. And then you're right, this could be fight of the night, but I'm gonna pick Josh Neer as well. Doesn't Neer train with the Diaz brothers now?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's on a run, man. He hasn't fought a lot of
He's
tough
way
guys.
better than he used
What
to be.
can you
for
pull
sure.
Neer up?
Pull who?
Neer, Josh Neer.
He's way better than he used to be for sure.
He's come along. I mean, a lot of these guys that were, at one time part-time fighters who are finally getting to become full-time fighters.
I mean, you got to be getting good if you're
What's our
training
1,
with
2?
the Caesar Grace.
He's coming off the
Caesar Gracie
Dwayne
guys.
Ludwig win.
6-fight win streak,
Yep,
and he's won.
Didn't he
8
submit
of his last
Dwayne Ludwig?
9.
yep.
Yeah, they thought that was going to be a straight up stand-up fight. I remember
Yep,
them
and
talking
it went to the
about
ground. Dwayne Ludwig was actually winning the fight, and it got to the ground, and he pulled a guillotine from the bottom. I think Neer was on the bottom and pulled the guillotine on him, and
that. Neer's good.
after getting beat up.
Neer's tough. His first fight of that was against Jesse Finney, who's my buddy's cousin.
Yeah,
Is that the guy from St. Louis?
Yeah, I saw that at the
Strike Force.
it wasn't Strike Force. It was
No?
it was Finney's fights.
Finney's fights, yeah.
Was it still
Fight
down?
in the MMA or something.
Okay.
But it was down at Sabas.
Yeah.
But I knew that was a tough fight for him going in. Neer threw him around.
Oh, I remember them advertising that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh,
Josh Neer's gotten way better. You have to get better training with those Caesar Gracie guys.
Pyle's
Yeah,
fucking good though, man.
He is. I
He's
like
a taller
Mike
guy. Look at his last 2 losses, right? Out of his 6 fights were Rory McDonald and Jake Ellenberger.
Yeah.
Right? Those aren't bad losses.
Two
He did beat
future
Ricardo
champions.
Almeida.
Are those 2 future champions, you think?
Jake Ellenberger? No.
No, because he ain't going to beat McDonald. Ellenberger would be a good number 2 guy.
Him and Roy McDonald in the same division.
He'll be good. Yeah, they're both one.
Ooh, that'll be some good fights down the years to watch.
But didn't Sanchez beat Ellenberger?
He came damn close.
Diego?
He didn't, but he came damn close.
That was on Fuel, wasn't it?
Yeah, he came out in that 3rd round, and it was badass. I mean, he was getting his ass handed to him the first 2 rounds, but
Mike
that
Pyle's
3rd
first
round,
fight was against Rampage.
that 3rd round, he almost finished.
What weight is that one? Is that 205?
Who knows then? Probably.
What's his upcoming fight? 185 or 170?
170, I think.
170.
Pyle's tough, man, and he's the favorite. I'm gonna go with Neer.
I did too, just because Neer's tough. He's a
Yeah.
fighter. He's
Neer's
He's gonna
moving
run
up.
on that streak, and I think he's just gonna.
Yeah, he's moving up.
He's on it. But that's a tough fight for him, and probably a real. I don't know. It's gonna be a gritty fight.
That's what Frank Mir's doing, putting it all together.
Scott Jorgensen and Eddie Wineland.
I think Frank Mir's putting it all together so he can retire.
Mm.
Not with the belt or anything, just retire. He's got to put all this stuff away.
Anyways, moving on. Frank Mir wins. I think Josh Jorgensen.
Frank,
Who the hell
Scott.
is Josh Jorgensen?
Scott. I don't know who Josh is.
who? Who are you doing? Oh, Scott Jorgensen and Eddie Wineland. Okay.
It might be Ricky Roach.
Have you
Ricky
played
Roach.
that UFC 3 game?
Yeah, I got it. I
Did
suck
you
at
see
it.
Scott Jorgensen on there? He looks so badass.
Hey, I've played it 3 times. With
yeah,
you?
you won twice.
Won twice.
Yeah, with your fucking guy that's
I know.
made with hundreds and shit. You
It's
know
a
what I
90.
mean?
They
Hey.
still let you
I'm
make
playing
those
with
guys?
fucking Carlos Condit or some shit.
Hey, I was a 90, you were an 89. You owned the game, I never played it.
You know,
I won. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I suck at that
Mhm.
game.
But Jorgensen's character looks fantastic on that thing because he's all spotted up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's got
But
that.
it looks so awesome. That's how I'm proud of it when I was watching.
I'm gonna pick Eddie.
Damn, it's
I'm picking
badass.
Eddie Wineland. Eddie Wineland. I can't even say it.
That's probably fight of the night
I'm picking Freddie Wineland.
against Josh Jorgensen.
Trained by Mickey Roach.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke.
We'll
He's
go with
trained by Mickey
Jorgensen.
Rourke. What's that?
I'm gonna go with Jorgensen, and I do think that that's gonna be fight of the night.
It might be. It's either that or Mir versus Powell. No, I take that back. I think Johnson versus McCall is going to be fight of the night. That's going to be an awesome fight.
It's gonna be a badass card, really.
I was going to say, looking at it, it's going to be, you got
That
Leonard
first fight
Garcia
was
on the
awesome.
preliminary, which is going to be, Leonard Garcia is always fun to watch, win or loss.
Yeah, but why does he get so many controversial wins?
Because they're
Yeah.
so close, because the way he fights, he gets beat up on, but
Not a
he's still
huge
like,
fan.
you don't like Leonard Garcia?
He's all right, but
I mean, he's not great, but
he
he's
doesn't
just
seem
fun
like
to
he's
watch.
ever gonna be that good. You
No,
know,
I don't
big
think so
looping
either,
punches and
but
shit.
he's just fun to watch.
He's a brawler.
It's fun to watch, kind of like Lieben.
I'm
He's
not a
fun to
big
watch.
fan of Mike Pierce either.
I like Mike
Pierce
Pierce.
is all right.
I do too.
I
I'm
don't
gonna take
know a lot
Leonard
of the other
Garcia
guys.
and Mike Pierce in
Yeah.
those two fights.
I don't know most of those guys on the undercard.
Yeah, other than that, I don't know. I've heard of Sean Pearson.
Wonder if these guys are brothers.
Wonder if Justin Salas is
Gallows.
related to the Cardinals pitcher Greg Salas. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Well, it
know.
looks like we got a bunch of fights, so it's gonna be hard to hold on to that belt, sir.
Yeah, I got a couple things I
Not when
want.
you have picks like mine.
I got a couple things I want to talk about
Not when you
since
have picks like Frank Mir.
Strike Force is next week. The heavyweight tournament final
Oh
next Saturday.
Who's that? Cormier and who?
Cormier versus Josh Barnett.
Is that on Showtime?
Yep, Showtime.
Figures.
That's tough.
May
I like
19th.
Josh Barnett.
I like Josh Barnett too.
I've
but
always
man,
liked Josh Barnett.
Barnett's it's a tough fight for Cormier too
And I
because he
know-
is so
I-
good on the ground.
I seen one of Josh Barnett's last fights. He looked really good
Yeah,
too.
he has looked
like
good,
one of
but
his
the problem is,
qualifying-
I'm not sure he can win if he doesn't get it to the ground. He claims he's going to get a takedown, but I don't know if he will. I mean, I really don't know if he'll be able.
Cormier.
Yeah, against Cormier. He says he's
Oh,
going to.
Barnett's going to take him down.
That's what he said. He says he's going to take Cormier down. but
Barnett looks tough. He looks
I don't
strong.
know if he's going to be
though.
able to.
He looks strong.
Cormier is
looking
probably the
shape.
best wrestler in MMA.
Yeah, I mean, he almost needs to take him down to win, though. I mean, I don't know if he can win standing up against Cormier. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe he could.
He's a bigger guy. Barnett's the favorite.
Cormier's got that knockout power, though.
He's just a nasty wrestler. Was he a silver medalist in the Olympics?
Two-time, I think. Two-time.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Well, what's the Olympics?
Yeah, it's just the Olympics.
That's
Yeah.
only where Dan Henderson was, too. Who's probably going to knock out John Johnson.
No.
But anyway.
No.
Maybe. Okay.
We'll save that for another day.
But,
Dan
that's...
Henderson's gonna get punched and be like, "I was 10 feet away from that guy. How'd that happen?" It's like
gonna
one
be
of those one of those things, where your dad holds you by your head and you can stand there and swing.
No, it's not... No one's ever done that to Dan Henderson.
I
Come
love
on.
Dan Henderson, but dude, he's just in trouble.
He's still got a chance.
He's in trouble.
He does have a
man.
chance.
He's got the...
I give him a much better chance after watching the Rashad fight.
He's got the puncher's chance.
He's getting close enough. What's Dan Henderson's reach? Look it up. Can we
Probably longer than you
put
think.
this to bed?
So the real question, I guess, about Josh Barnett versus Daniel Cormier.
Barnett.
I can't even say this
Man.
guy's name. Josh Barnett versus Daniel Cormier is, do they really want to win? That's the question. Because
Right.
if
Whoever wins stays in Strike Force.
yeah, because they literally
Well,
said
they don't necessarily stay.
No,
right?
they do. Yeah.
because they're the champion.
If they win, they have to stay in Strike Force for at least one more fight.
so we're gonna
So-
see like two guys.
So
going
the
there, like
loser could literally go to
Are
the
they-
UFC the next
are they,
fight.
Are they both gonna pull out with injuries?
But
an
how
hour before
well
the-
would that be to go to the UFC with a loss? Losing that to a Strike Force champ, and then you're coming over.
Well, either
You
way,
still
they're
want to
gonna,
win that fight because you're going to come over with a lot
well,
more.
I don't
stock.
think either
What's
one's
that
going to
reach?
throw the fight for real. But I mean, they all want to be in the UFC, But the winner's going to have to stay in Strike Force for at least
71
one
inches.
more fight.
from to 84.
Yep, 71.
Who's got 71?
It's only a foot.
Dan Henderson, 13 inches,
Yeah, but Dan Henderson fights in the clinch a lot.
13-inch reach advantage, just like Rampage Jackson, 13 inches. Just like Shogun, 13 inches.
Touch on the chin. That's all. That's all he needs.
Get close enough.
He needs one punch like Rashad had.
Get close enough.
He needs one punch like Rashad had.
Rashad's got power, and he didn't knock him out. He didn't even come close to knocking him out.
No, but not that kind of power. He don't.
I don't know. Rashad's got a lot of power.
The only thing that looks bad with that is how Silva had him on the ground and just held him there, beat him up.
Another Strikeforce thing I wanted to mention. Not coming up real soon, but kind of mention it because it is kind of important to Strikeforce if Strikeforce can be important at this point. July 14th, Strikeforce vacant middleweight 185-pound title. Nate the Great Marquardt versus Tyron Woodley, who's undefeated.
Isn't Tyron Woodley that guy from St. Louis?
He's a pure wrestler. Yeah, I think he is from St. Louis.
That's the guy from St. Louis. That's the guy who...
Yeah, Marquardt.
That's the guy who actually worked out at the gym I worked out at.
Yeah.
He'll never fight in the UFC again, Marquardt.
No.
Remember that? I'm going with Woodley.
They say that a lot. If he keeps winning,
I'm going with Woodley.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm going with
Woodley's been doing a lot of laying praying. I hate that, but
Marquardt's good off his back, man.
Yeah. Wait and see. That's something to look forward to, though.
And juices.
Marquardt needs to be back in the UFC.
So, I kind of want to mention this. It's just a rumor. I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that Dominic Cruz was injured by Ronda Rousey in practice.
I don't know if that's true, but that would be fantastic. Rousey was training with the Diaz brothers, too.
Right, but she was training with Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz brought Ronda Rousey on to the Ultimate Fighter like a week ago, or 2 weeks ago.
Fuck, she might be bigger than Cruz.
She's a beast.
She's 135,
that's
so the same size, yeah.
For a woman, she's a beast.
Yeah, that fight was
I don't know if that's true.
That I thought that was a
someone might have made that rumor up just to be funny, like, oh, a girl, ended up injuring Dominic Cruz.
Fuck, if they're the same size.
Yeah.
Shit.
She's awesome, though. She really is.
Dude, she hit some nasty fucking guillotine arm bars.
She's awesome.
She threw that one bitch around like nothing.
Dude,
she's fighting
the current champion, that last one.
Tate or whatever.
Yeah, she's fighting Sarah Kaufman next, but they don't know when yet. They haven't said when. Maybe sometime.
Maybe we should fight the ex-Rams tight end, Chase Kaufman. That might be fair.
Sarah Kaufman's striker. She's a kickboxer, big kickbox striker, big in kickbox. Trains with Golden Glory, I think.
Anybody ever heard a report on?
I don't think I'll ever bet against that Ronda Rousey. I think she'd beat the fuck out of
Cyborg.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome to see.
I'd like to hear about Koscheck's eye.
He looked bad.
Was anything wrong with it again?
It looked bad. He said it felt fine at the press conference, but
he was touching it a whole lot during the fight, and you could tell when he.
Yeah, that Misha Tate also said her arm was just a little sore after that Rousey fight. Too.
Yeah, when it was.
Yeah, after she turned her arm all around in circles like a pretzel.
And then afterwards, she's like, basically, she tore the muscle off the bone. Everything around there got torn off. I was like, holy shit.
She's like, oh, it's fine.
Okay.
No, it's a little sore.
Some a bad bitch.
Yeah, and it bent backwards at a 90-degree angle. Dude.
Yeah, and then you start going like this with it.
Yeah. Like, are you going to tap, bitch? I was like,
do I have to twist this thing off? How's this come off?
Yeah,
I'm twisting, but it
Herb
ain't
Dean
what did Frank Mir do?
Herb Dean would have stopped that fight. He'd have been like, oh, that's broke.
Herb, stop the fight, Dean.
Frank Mir, could he possibly break Dos Santos' arm too?
No, not
Can
unless
we go for a 4-pack broken arms?
He'd have to get him to the ground first to do that.
It's gonna happen.
Not unless he sneaks into his house when he's sleeping or something.
That's what Chael Sonnen does.
You got something in your
the
wallet on
Soldier
that
of
fight?
Fortune glasses. Huh?
You got something in your wallet on that fight?
We'll come up with something.
You guys are gonna bet each other?
We'll come up with something.
Not.
I got 5 on it, on camera.
Oh, just 5? Okay.
I mean, I'm broke. You know what I mean? I'm looking for a job again. So.
Well, shit, we picked 20 fights.
We had a lot of fights tonight.
22 fights, I think. It's going to be quite the record coming into the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not too confident because I pick a lot of times just my favorite fighters.
So you made me pick the entire card on UFC 146.
That's a card where we can pick the entire card.
I kept for how long was I keeping my stats? I was still picking 3 or 4 fights a card. Like certain fights maybe I wouldn't pick.
That's a card.
But I'm going to be ahead of you this time. I don't like not knowing. I like winning.
Yeah, but
buddy.
Yeah,
Same fantasy
146
football.
is almost everybody on that card that we know. I mean, there's no reason we can't pick those cards.
I'm excited for the card.
Honestly, it's a great card. I mean, other than Frank Mir fighting just Dos Santos instead of Overeem.
And when he wins, you're going to be like.
When he loses, I would
listen to him.
Okay,
how about this? When Frank Mir wins next week, I'll make everyone's picks. Or when he wins, I'll make everyone's picks from now on. How's that sound?
What does that mean?
Yeah, I ain't gonna make picks.
It means it'll be.
Does that mean that
nobody
wins? I don't get it.
This will be the MMA Chat 3 Organic Dope / Daniel Chat and Dan's
all right,
picks.
so we'll keep the records all around, but we'll
How about
pass
this?
the belt
How
around
about
for
this?
the numbered cards. Sound good?
Well, what?
Whoever wins the numbered card, that's who we'll
Gets the
consider
belt.
champion, but we'll
That's
keep
fair.
the record for all of them.
That's fair.
Okay.
How about this though? We'll say if Frank Mir wins, we'll say Organic Dope featuring Dan Littlefield.
There you go. I will start it off next time for sure.
Okay.
That
Special
seems fair.
guest.
Sounds good.
Special expert, keyboard expert.
Keyboard expert.
Keyboard expert.
I wonder where that
Special
guy's
keyboard
at.
expert,
I wonder
Dan
if
Littlefield.
that guy's watching us right now.
I hope so.
Check it out again.
Because I don't fight, so I
don't know
If
what
I'm
I'm
an
talking
expert
about.
in anything, it's keyboards.
you know, right?
Yeah.
I tell you what, if he is watching, he can come down here and fight us.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight him, but
I'll fight him.
Fuck it, I'll fight him.
I can't.
Throw some gloves on. Mouthpiece in, let's go.
I can't fight anybody anymore.
All right, we'll see how tall he is to see who has to fight him.
Well,
Something tells me he's probably still living in his mom's house, somewhere in the basement.
somewhere in the
Probably
basement.
about 14. Didn't you say you looked him up?
Yeah, he had been posting a bunch of different
He
people.
just runs around.
I thought he
trying to
was.
write
I thought
nasty
maybe he
comments
made
to
his own videos or something. That's why I checked out his channel.
Probably doesn't know how to work a camcorder.
So I checked out his channel, but
Man.
he was just making
Got a few
comments
of
on a
these
bunch of
beers.
different
Yeah.
channels.
It happens in 2-hour shows.
What time is it?
There was a lot of nice comments though. I thought
It
most
was.
of the comments were
I thought
nice.
so. We had quite a few views. I know we had a
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
I
all
appreciate
you
watching.
viewers.
That was cool.
Yes, yeah, we enjoy doing this, and if we keep some views up,
I doubt anybody watches these 2 hours.
What all the people on YouTube say? They say like, subscribe, favorite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
subscribe.
Subscribe to my page.
Yes.
Do I have it on the page?
No, it's your
I don't know if I
channel.
really-
It's not
yeah.
your page.
Organic
channel.
dope, high dollar.
I don't
High
look
dollar,
at that one that
baby.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Highdollar.net, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Bill, put the hat down. Put the
Yeah, no, it's everywhere.
There it
It's
is.
posted all the way around.
Yeah,
I know
if
it
you
is.
check out his channel, you can see his dog fight a cat. It's pretty cool.
Right. I
It's a
think the
good
cat
video,
wins.
honestly. It's good
I
videos.
think the cat wins.
Yeah.
We got to come up with some new ones.
Those are
Something
good. Those are good fights, though. I mean, it looked like the cat knew some jujitsu. I
I
thought
need to do animation with voices.
The
or
cat's
something.
really good at rolling.
It looked like jiu-jitsu versus wrestling, didn't it?
It did. Yeah.
I
The
thought
cat had its hooks in at one point.
The pit bull's definitely the wrestler.
Yeah, it was wrestling. He doesn't like being on his back.
No,
It was good though. You know, there was some good cat dog fights. You don't see very many of those.
we'll get him. And
Deserves
Bruce.
more views.
Get him
Yeah,
and Bruce playing
definitely.
next time.
Well, we appreciate everybody. Keep in touch for
Yes,
the
everyone.
next one.
Have a good night.
After Bill
Thanks for
Schumer gets the
watching.
belt back.
Yep.
No,
Good
Littlefield.
fights
Littlefield
coming up.
#1.
May's
5-2. Which will be
May's a
next
good
time.
month for fights.
Yep. JD.
Lots of fights this month.
Frank Mir. Frank Mir.
Who the hell's
Watch
Frank
it.
Mir?
Watch it.
Nobody's
Frank
gonna
Mir.
know after this
Frank
fight.
Mir. Watch it. Frank Mir.
All right.